Shout out Solo D. Shout out to DWA.
Let's eat.
Yo, Solo. You know they been saying you gotta make a hit squad part 2. But you know, man, we hungry this time, man. We gotta eat this time.
Back in the beast mode. AFC was trying to rap up the East Coast. Take shots, fall back, then reload. Get the powder time to slap up these foes. Anytime we hit the field, then we must play. Any boys going hard, man, I must say. Trying to stay on one route like the busway. Trying to eat teams up like a buffet. Eat the offense like a buffet. Eat the quarterback like a buffet. Eat the running back like a buffet. Eat the wide receiver like a buffet. Eat the whole line like a buffet. Eat the coach up like a buffet. Eat the fan base like a buffet. Stay on one route like the busway. I say and not quote. Go hard or go home is the motto. A pick or a sack is the lotto. Let's cook them like Emerald Lagasso. My bad, Lagasse. He going south, that is not me. Hungry for greatness, so I eat. Stay in my zone like a Bobby. Jumping off the edge like E and Shaq. Straight pressure, never even back. Protection on the way you gon' get wins. Split through the middle like Wilkins. Got some backers on the back that's gon' back me up. Straight action, we be acting up. Tell Coach Drop his best plan, but it still get snatched my X-Man. Cause we back in the beast mode. AFC was trying to rap up the East Coast. Take shots, fall back, then reload. Get the powder time to slap up these foes. Anytime we hit the field, then we must play. Any boys going hard, man, I must say. Trying to stay on one route like the busway. Trying to eat teams up like a buffet. Eat the offense like a buffet. Eat the quarterback like a buffet. Eat the running back like a buffet. Eat the wide receiver like a buffet. Eat the whole line like a buffet. Eat the coach up like a buffet. Eat the fan base like a buffet. Stay on one route like the busway.
Eating like a buffet, it be a long day, we ain't gon' play. Yeah, them boys green, no subway. Pick the ball off X and BJ. I don't care about what he and she say, that's nonsense. Check the replay, I work overnight and it's early morning, but I'm turned up cause it's game day. They don't really want it with your boy. Old line really get destroyed. Ex-Patriot, Cal Van Noy, put him on his butt, hurt everyone. What's a grown man to a boy? Jam him at the line, dare you to throw it. Discipline coach Brian Flores, never getting rattled to the boys. Fans better pay attention, need the social distance. I got a witness and you know we blitzing, but mind your business. Christian Wilkins on the line of scrimmage, far from timid, pushing to the limit, revving engine. You know we gotta get it, Nick Needle. You know we gonna big it, bang it, take it to the business. Fins up till my life is finished. Say it with my chest cause I'm in it. A lie, know why, I admit it. New era, yeah, our division. A win streak, we just keep on winning. So I lose to tell them suck a limit. Bills with the Jets in New England. Miami talk dogs where you hear me.
Back in the beast mode. AFC was trying to rap up the East Coast. Take shots, fall back, then reload. Get the powder time to slap up these foes. Anytime we hit the field, then we must play. Any boys going hard, man, I must say. Trying to stay on one route like the busway. Trying to eat teams up like a buffet. Eat the offense like a buffet. Eat the quarterback like a buffet. Eat the running back like a buffet. Eat the wide receiver like a buffet. Eat the whole line like a buffet. Eat the coach up like a buffet. Eat the fan base like a buffet. Stay on one route like the busway.
What's up, ladies and gentlemen? This is your boy, Stephen D, and this is the state of DolFan Nation. I am so excited to be with y'all this evening. We got a great show lined up for y'all today. We have so many people from all over the country joining us. It's going to be a great time tonight. Thank you for joining us here on the Facebook and YouTube pages of Miami Sports Music. We're going to have a great time. What we're going to do tonight is we're going to have a roundtable discussion with fans from all over the country about the 2020 campaign that we just had and the future of the Miami Dolphins and all the offseason that's in between. Before I do get started, I just want to make some quick announcements. Tonight, we want to be able to take your questions. So tonight, if you want to have your question, put the hashtag Dolphin question in your post, whether it's on Facebook or on YouTube. And we'll have some of the panel here to be able to answer your questions about the Miami Dolphins 2020 season heading into 2021. So without further ado, what I really want to do now is obviously introduce you to the team that will be with me this evening. So first person for joining us from the Miami Sports Music family, he's our new media director. You got to love the man. He's a great guy. It's Jamie Bahamas from 305sports.net. What's up, Jamie?
What's up, Steven? What's up, world? How's everybody doing today? I'm ready, man.
I'm ready for you, man. I'm super excited. Next up, we have the newest member. This is an announcement. We're actually proud to announce that Jazz, a.k.a. Vincente, will join our team here at Miami Sports Music as a new contributor with her own podcast that will debut in February, and she will be covering the Heat, the Marlins, and mostly the Miami Dolphins. What's up, Insanity?
Wait, listen, first of all, I am completely humbled by everyone who came up here to show support. I love you guys. TD, thank you for being a mentor, and everyone who's here to support me. I'm great, and I'm grateful, and I'm really ready to start this new venture with you guys. So let's get this thing going. Fins up, as always. Fins up the comment section, people. This is home right now. Let's go. DWA, where you at?
Awesome. Well, I like the enthusiasm. I'm ready to go. And shout out to TD. I heard he on his stream today shouted us out, and we were able to have a few more viewers that are joining us now as I can see our numbers starting to rise. If you see this, I want you to share it. I want you to like it. I want you to subscribe it with all your friends this evening. Next up, who do we have next? Next is a very good friend of mine. I call him the godfather of the Finlaws himself. Without this man, I don't know if half the people that were on this roundtable tonight would be friends. It is my good friend, Mark NorCal. What's up, NorCal? Angelo, how you doing, brother?
Man, super happy to be here. I hope my internet comes through for me tonight, man. I'm excited. Super happy to be part of the MSM family for sure.
NorCal, brother, you are the godfather of the Finlaws, man. That I am hereby deeming you from this day forward the godfather, and I really appreciate you joining us all the way on the left coast there, man. I'm excited to have you tonight.
Wow, I don't know if I deserve that name, but I'll do my best.
All right, next up, man, we have from the enemy territory itself, all right? Next up is a very good friend of mine. I love him. You love him. Everybody knows him as Eric Carrier. Eric, what's up, brother? How you doing tonight?
Hey, what's up, everybody? How you doing? Happy to be here. It's a wonderful time up here in New England. It's been fun around here this entire season, being a Dolphins fan. And I'm really looking forward to this offseason and getting to chat with you guys today.
Eric, man, I appreciate you being on tonight. We're going to have a good time. And now we're going to slide over to Eric's best friend. And Eric, I'll actually let you introduce this man.
Oh, man, there's not enough words on this planet to describe Mr. Canine, DolFan himself, coming from Virginia, Mr. Brad Wimes.
Brad, what's up, brother?
What's good? What's good? 305. Stand up. Let's go.
All right, we got Brad Wimes in the building. I'm super excited about that. We're definitely going to have a good time there. And I don't want to forget my good friend all the way up in Ohio. And I know he's got his mind on other things tonight with the national championship game going on. But you know him as Finn Evil. Matt, Finn Evil, what's up, brother?
Not much, guys. How's it going? Thank you for letting me come on tonight because I've said before, anytime I get a chance to talk Dolphins football is a great time for me. So, again, thanks for having me on. I can't wait to get it going.
Hey, look, Matt, man, anytime we get a chance or an opportunity to bring in somebody from the TPP family, we definitely want to make that happen. And I think he might have just dropped off for a second. We'll get him back on there. And then as I see here, one of the other people that just walked into the room, and I want to make sure I get him from the Orlando fan club. You'll see people dropping in and out this evening, but from the Orlando fan club, the president and co-founder, Rex. Rex, what's up, brother?
What's going on? Can you guys hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you great. Turn your phone sideways. That way we get the full screen of you. And, brother, I'm so excited that you're here this evening, man. Thank you for coming on.
Hey, my man. Appreciate the invite.
No problem. All right, we got Matt and Mark back on the line here. We have a few more people that are going to join us tonight, so I'm pretty excited. But, you know, since I've introduced everybody, let's get to why we're here tonight. So the Miami Dolphins finished 10-6 in the regular season. And if you go through all of the preseason surveys of how the Dolphins were going to finish this year, I don't think any one of us, or anybody in the country for that matter, had us over 8 wins. And so it was pretty exciting season to see, what we did and where we're headed and the direction that we're headed. But before we get into the future, I want to talk about this year. So the first person I want to bring on is Finsanity. Finsanity, tell us about the year, what your thoughts were of the 2020 campaign, and where you see the team right now.
Absolutely happy about this season. To me, my head is very high as a Dolphins fan going into next season, and just with this season in general. It didn't end how we wanted it, but listen, we started out 5-11, completely broke everything down, and in one season, our coach, our GM, our front office has us playing winning football. A lot of franchises take time to turn around their organization, but this is the quickest we have seen it. We've had 8-8, we've had 9-7, we've had 7-9, but this is probably one of the most successful jumps we've had in my generation. You guys probably know a lot more and have seen a lot more than me. But for me personally, I'm happy. And all I can say is I saw a fight from these guys. Even when we were down, these guys never said die. We continued played until there were zeros on the clock, and we galvanized. We became closer. We became a family. Even with the QB controversy, you did not see that translate on the field. Everyone came to do their job. Everybody came to work hard, and that's what I like. We stepped up. We had guys go out with injuries. Guys stepped up, and we didn't really miss too many beats until this last game, but it's motivating because everything that Flores probably preached to these guys is coming to fruition. So the next thing he tells them, they're going to believe it. He's changed the mindset. He's changed the environment. He's changed the culture. Everyone works hard, and everyone comes here to compete. And it really gets back to his doctrine. The best player will play. And I've consistently seen that, barring an injury or not, whoever should be out there was consistently out there, and they consistently put together a great effort for this fan base. And that's why I love, supporting this organization and this franchise and the new regimen that we have. And nothing will deter me from that. My head's high.
Definitely. I totally agree with that. I think everything you said is spot on. I want to bring in the Ryan Fitzpatrick of our team, or at least the way that I see him, the father figure of the group, Brad Wimes. And the reason I say that is because he's the motivator of all of us in here. Brad, tell me what your thoughts were about this season.
So when it first started, I was kind of like, we'll see how we do or whatever. But I'm echoing the same thoughts, right? So you see like the next man up kind of stage, right? But then you see the fight in them. It was like ridiculous from last year to this year was insane, totally insane. You went from a team that went, maybe we'll lose. These guys are like, no, we're playing to the last second. And I love it. That's what I love. You see that fight. You see that fire in their eyes. You actually see that, which was great for me. The past years, you'd see them give up almost. Like, we're going to go golfing anyway. Who cares? But not this year. This year, they definitely showed that fire. And that's what I like. I hate when people just give up. These guys did not give up this year. They were like, we're on, our third string guy. We're on our second string guy. Who cares? And Coach Flo brings that out of people. He motivates them and tells them, you're going to play. And I love it. That's what I love about the team. And going forward, that's what I like about Coach Flo. He's telling them, you're going to play for me. And they respect him, and you can see it. You can feel it. You know what I mean?
Definitely. I totally agree with that. Dami over here on the YouTube channel says we can't let this peak like 08 and 16. And Eric, I want to bring you in for that, man. We've been hyped before. We've been ready to kind of, as a fan, hit that thing into overdrive and be ready to go, on our bragging rights tour. But I don't know. Are we there yet? What did you see this year that made you confident?
No. I'm not saying we're there yet, and we should never. We should never brag like that. We should be humble winners every time. And I think Coach Flo brings that too. You can see it too. You see other teams doing all this other nonsense. The Bengals, the Ravens doing all this nonsense all the time. You can see it from Coach Flo that you don't play that. You win, that's it. You shake hands, you leave. I love it.
Eric, what about you, man? What's your thoughts on this season, Eric?
I think this year was a success. Every year we kind of have that build up. Oh, this is the year. This is it. We start playing well, and then all of a sudden we get chopped back to reality going, you know what? We're really not even close. Maybe in our minds we have that faith. We're all so loyal to this team that in our hearts we know that, you know, this team's great, but then when they come out that day, you know, they seem to let us down. And it's almost like we build them up so much that we almost set ourselves up for a letdown. And this year, you didn't really see that. You know, it's this team, like Finsanity said, this team plays for each other. And that's something you haven't seen in Miami in a long time. A lot of these guys you've always seen play for the name that's on their back and not the name that's across the chest. And I think that with this culture and the situation at hand with all these draft picks, that I don't think people really realize outside, you know, if you don't follow this team closely, how big coaching this Senior Bowl is in a year like this where you don't know if the combine's going to happen. Having firsthand knowledge to all these guys, you know, bragging rights for Miami fans right now, I think are warranted. You know, did we make the playoffs? No. But people had us at 3 wins this year. Pros, experts.
Sports books had us. I think the over under was 6 wins in the sports book. So
you know what I mean.
I totally agree, man. Look, the bragging is definitely there. Rex, you're in Orlando, brother. You know, tell us, man, what did you think this year of the 2020 season, and what were the thoughts of the fans in Orlando? What did you guys think about the year?
Man, we loved it. You know, I can only echo, you know, a lot of the sentiments that Finsanity had mentioned earlier. You know, everybody was high on our team this year. I think we suffered a massive disappointment last week in the regular season, but at the same time, it kind of level set where we were on this journey. And I think that, you know, we all know we're still in the beginning. We're year 2 of a complete rebuild. So to go, you know, double-digit wins. Ask Mark how much money he won on that Vegas prop bet for his total number of wins this year. Right? I think Mark came out on top there. But you know, look, the second year of a rebuild, we're 10-6. So you know, it's only up from there. And you know, we talk. I think that was it. Dami put, you know, don't let this be a peak like 08 and 16. I think we're in the very beginning of, you know, a culture. You know, that seems to be a recurring topic. Culture,
definitely,
and Greer building there. You know, you hear these trade rumors about Deshaun Watson. I don't know. Maybe I'm a minority in the fact that let's build around Tua. I've only seen 1 year out of this kid, and I didn't even get to see a full year. Yeah, did he have great numbers? No, he didn't. But you know, neither did John Elway, Peyton Manning, or Troy Aikman in their rookie year either. So. You know, I think that we we got the building blocks in place. Finally, we got a head coach. I mean, this is my favorite head coach since Don Shula. We've got a front office that's capable and competent, you know, to draft to make the right moves. You know, maybe we go back from 3, maybe we stay at 3. You know, can we get that? You know, we need a big time receiver to help out. I think that this front office and this head coach, they know where our gaps are. They know how to keep this process going and how to keep on building.
Definitely. I totally agree. And a lot of you all are bringing up great points, you know, like you were talking about, you know, the coaching staff going to the Senior Bowl. You're talking about the need for a wide receiver. We're going to get to all of that this evening. I just want to wrap up with Matt and Mark real quick, because I do want to hear what you guys have to say about this year's team and the 2020 team. Matt, we'll start with you. You know, Finn Evil, what did you think this year of the 2020 season? You know, in a short little script that you might have there.
Well, like everybody else says, you know, last week didn't turn out the way we wanted to, but 10-6. You know, like Rex said, it was year 2 of a rebuild year. You could argue that it's actually year 1 because last year was the teardown. Now it's the rebuild. So 10-6 is a great accomplishment with what we have done, sticking to the plan. To go back to what Eric was saying about how they play for each other under Flores, words like culture, words like accountability. At training camp last year, they had the big, huge sign that said TNT, takes no talent. And that speaks volumes for what kind of culture that man is trying to bring to the locker room and the field in general, is that we may not have the best players at all the positions, but if we come together as one, we're going to have a winning product on the field. And we're seeing the product of that way sooner than I think any of us anticipated.
Definitely. I totally agree. Jamie, you'll be last up here before we get into some of the big topics here that I know a lot of you all have different opinions on, and that's when we'll really get into the fun of things here. Jamie, what was your thoughts of the 2020 season and how you saw it?
I love everything that the roundtable just brought. To start off with what Finsanity said about, how this was a quick turnaround and they did really well. And you saw how Domi and the rest of the team said they wanted to be different than how it looked in the previous years. Well, this feels different. This isn't the Adam Gase gimmick mirage of a team, right? And even if we go back to Sperano and that team, and love that team, love Sperano, but we know that team was built off of, what they devised in that airplane trip back to the Wildcat, right? Teams caught on to that and they didn't have anything to build on that. This is completely different. This team is built to last. This feels different, right? So that's one exciting thing that we have to look forward to. And like everything that's mentioned, I'm sure we're going to come back and talk about it. I'm sure we're going to come back and talk about the Deshaun Watson Tua thing. But overall, when we look at it, here's one thing I want to leave on this topic is what people didn't account for in this season, why the Dolphins did so well, why they got the 10 wins, almost made the playoffs. 2020 was unique. It was COVID, right? You didn't have that regular offseason. You didn't have preseason. And I know they said every team had to deal with the same circumstances, but every team didn't have Brian Flores. You heard my man over there mention it takes no talent and that wall and that discipline. By having something like that and having that structure in place, they were able to navigate through this season. You want to see how well somebody does. You know how they say the Mike Tyson thing that everybody has a plan until they get hit in the mouth, right?
Yep.
Everybody got hit in the mouth this year with COVID, right? But the Dolphins sustained because Brian Flores knew how to handle the team in chaos. And that's really good for the Dolphins going forward.
Definitely. This is the Miami Sports Music's State of DolFan Nation special roundtable show. I have people from all over the country here. And if you want to have a question posted to anybody in the panel tonight, what I want you to do is in your post put hashtag DolFan question, and we'll definitely take your questions tonight on the show. Look, I want to kind of get into the next topic. And Finsanity, what I'm doing tonight is I'm also popping up the post that you'll see here from the fans, and it looks like you're trending in our show today. Finsanity is like the number one thing that I see in all these comments. So props to you. And just so everybody knows, Finsanity is going to be part of the Miami Sports Music family starting in February on Thursdays, with a show to be determined. We haven't named the show yet, but she's going to have her own show on Miami Sports Music in our relaunch. So, Finsanity, I want to come right back to you, actually. And, I want to talk about, Tua. What is your thoughts on Tua Tagovailoa this year? And, what did you see from him that made you happy or not happy? Oh, you're on mute there.
There we go. Sorry about that. First of all, I want to thank everyone for having me trending. I really love the love, but I stand on the shoulders of one of the greatest mentors I've ever had in TD Fence Talk. But Tua Tagovailoa, man, listen, this kid is very near and dear to my heart because I'm a Bama fan. So when he first came here, there's actually a reaction of me and my a video of me and my dad hugging, like just so elated that this guy was in our franchise, right? But here's the truth of it all. Did he do what we expected him to do? Did he bring the hype? Did he bring the two-inness that we were all expecting? No. But I'm not disappointed in what I saw from that young kid. For him to fight back from that injury, to just give us a glimpse of what we could have, is truly amazing to me. He didn't have an offseason. He didn't have a mini camp, a rookie mini camp, OTAs. So this kid was pretty much going into this thing trial by fire. So I really believe also with having Gailey up in the box, to me, a young quarterback needs his OC and his QB coach in his ear on that sideline, so they know what he wants them to implement on that field. And I think we're gonna talk about Gailey and how we feel about him, but I feel like Tua, he did what he was asked to do for the most part until that last game, and that was try to sustain drives, don't commit a turnover, hand off the ball. And I think that's why Greer went in and said that he's going to be our starting quarterback. I'm pretty sure he had a discussion with Flores about how he felt about him before he made that statement. And at the end of the day, I believe we had too big of too big of expectations for this kid because we thought we were going to get 100% Bama Tua. And that kid, I don't know if he was 100% playing, but the mental aspect of that game, not wanting to be hit, sometimes just going down and, instead of taking a dive to get the first down, he's sliding, which you want your quarterback to do. Don't get me wrong. You want your quarterback to slide, but we see the difference in the ferocity between Fitz and Tua. And I believe that mindset, he has to get back into a competitive football mindset where he goes out there and gets it. And he played a lot with backups, third string guys. I'm not going to kick too much dirt onto his name. He was a rookie. There were a lot of guys who kind of outshined him a little bit, but at the end of the day, for our system, for what we want to do, it's okay to allow your quarterback to develop slowly and to allow him to learn the game, to let the game come to him instead of you trying to go out there and just throw him into the game. So I'm really excited. If we didn't have to compare him to the recklessness of Fitz, I'm pretty sure we would have had all different opinions, but my quarterback, I'm not anything negative about him.
And that's the part of doing this roundtables, because I know a lot of us do. I want to bring in NorCal. NorCal, look, you've seen rookie quarterbacks come in and out of this team over the last 20 years. What about Tua Tagovailoa did you like or not like about this year?
I liked almost everything about it. I mean, a couple of the things I disliked were normal rookie growing pain things. So, look, and some of the things he may or may not have done may have been from the coach telling him not to, and he's disciplined enough to not do it. The team is disciplined, so that's going to lead to wins and a good culture, like everyone said earlier.
Definitely. All right, look, I have a new person to the panel that I want to introduce real quick, who's just dropping in, and I'm pretty excited about her coming on to the show. She's been a big fundamental person in Miami sports music and just being a great fan. She's one of my best friends. I love her to death. She's a big reason that Insanity is going to be part of the Miami sports music family. Freaky, a.k.a. Allie's in the building. What's up, Al?
What's up, guys? Thanks for having me on. Hey,
what's
friends.
going on? Turn your phone just sideways. That way we have the full picture of you. There we go. All right. Look, before I kind of get going, what do you think about Tua Tagovailoa, and what did you think about the 2020 season, Al?
So in general, I think with the 2020 season, it's really hard to be disappointed with how we were overall. I don't think any of us really saw 10-6 coming. We just figured this season's going to be a hot mess with COVID. We don't even know if we're going to be able to go to the games. We don't know who's going to play, who's not going to play, like what our situation is going to be from week to week, what Tua is going to look like, when Tua is going to come out. We didn't have any of those answers in the beginning. So it's really, at this point, it's just hard to be disappointed in how well we did. So I'm very thrilled with this season. I think, obviously the last game was very disappointing and heartbreaking, but at the same time, like, we are in such a good position. We just need to keep doing what we're doing and just build from here.
Definitely. I totally agree. Brad, I want to bring you back into this conversation a little bit because I see you on social media a lot, having to talk to fans or talk them off the ledge. Obviously being the positive guy that you always are. What do you think about Tua, and what are your thoughts on him this year?
Are you asking me?
I'm asking you, Brad.
So here's my thing, right? I'm not a Tua guy. I wasn't a Tua guy in the beginning. I was not, and you can ask Eric this. I was not. I wasn't ready for that. What I saw from him this year was this. I saw a lot of heart. I saw a lot of drive. I saw a lot of
arts and crafts,
like willingness to get the first down. I saw a lot of that. He just wasn't my wasn't my pick, and I'll be the one to say it. He wasn't my pick. I didn't want him on the team, but after I saw a sample size of what I'm seeing, I think we're going to lead it into next year for sure. But I just hope they open up the playbook for him more, because I think he's really football intelligent, and I think he was almost like you gave him crayons, and he was like, "I need a paintbrush, bro." You know, like I can draw in the lines just fine. I'm good with that. Give me a paintbrush and I'll paint a Picasso. But give me the freedom to do that. So I think that's what the coaching staff needs to do for him. That's my personal opinion. I don't know if anybody else agrees with me on that, but
I actually think you bring up a very good point, Brad, and that's one of the things that I wanted to kind of get into next, and that was Chan Gailey and the different playbooks. And Eric, I'll bring you in. And as I see, people putting Rex is putting his hand over his head. Eric, let's talk a little bit about this because Brad brought up a great point. Let's talk about the playbooks that people said that there was different playbooks for both of the guys. And Chan Gailey, what are your thoughts this year on the offensive coordinator and the play calling? You're on mute. Let me get you off mute there.
Yeah,
go ahead.
There we go. I think it's quite clear that there was two different playbooks. Everybody wants to say, oh, no, Fitz was throwing receivers open, this, that, and the other thing. I look at it as it's definitely the playbook they use it for Tua when the ball snapped and out of his hands within half a second. You're not letting plays develop for Tua because you're not calling those plays. With Fitz, maybe they just thought he could make the reads a little bit better, so they opened it up more for him. Or it could have been maybe they're playing the long game, and maybe they don't want to put all the tape out there this past season on Tua, and have him run a different playbook than he'll see next year, where he comes out and you see him with that more gunslinger mentality. It's, and as far as the different playbooks, you also got to remember who they're throwing to. These are guys, barring a couple injuries and out, guys that opted out that wouldn't even have been on his roster. Mac Hollins is not going to see any time in the wide receiving room outside of being on special teams. Jakeem Grant. Ask Brad how I feel about Jakeem Grant. Love the guy. We'll put him on a pedestal for returners and kick returners. He's not a wide receiver. The guys get hands like stones. Isaiah Ford. You don't get cut. You don't get traded and then cut from the New England Patriots because you're a great player. You know what I mean? He was a fill-in role. I don't think people understand how much Allen Hurns and Albert Wilson opting out really hurt this team and their receiver core because I think your play calling is a lot different. And I know Brandon Mahaffrey is going to want to fight me over saying Mac Hollins.
I literally just posted that he said on here, Matt Hollins is a legend. That's too funny. I literally just posted that he wrote that.
Brandon wanted to fight me last week when I said Mac Hollins has feet for hands or something like that.
All right, well, look, Jamie, let me bring you in on this real quick, Jamie. What are your thoughts on Chan Gailey, the play calling, and the different playbooks for both the guys, Fitzpatrick and Tua?
Yeah, so I did extensive research on Chan Gailey before this season and predicted. I actually challenged a few of the analysts out there. They were talking about Gesicki potentially having a breakout year in Gailey's offense. And I challenge that because if you go back and look at it, Gailey's never produced a productive tight end in his entire career. And honestly, if it wasn't for, we just heard all the different receivers that opted out and the different receivers we didn't have, I can bet money that we thought Gesicki had a good year. He didn't have a good year. He had a year where he survived, where he was the only receiver that they could use. And that kind of frustrates me. And that's kind of, in a way, I hate to say I like when, that we moved on from a coach or whatever the case is, but in a way, I'm glad that it happened because if we had the full complement of receivers, we would have wasted another year of a talented tight end like that. Look at the teams that have just won a Super Bowl, that just went to the Super Bowl, that are playing great right now. Tight end in your passing game is huge. So that's one big thing why I was really not working with how I didn't like the whole Chan Gailey thing. Then to go on top of it, right? Look at who's like. Let's take the best offense in the league. We might have different opinions on it, but the Kansas City Chiefs, they're not the best team. That offense is crazy. And you know what's so crazy about them? their playbook must be like an encyclopedia chess, right? They have every week there's new players coming out of there. I'm telling you guys, go back and watch it if you don't have it memorized right now. Every time the Dolphins were in the red zone, I sat there on my couch and I said, fade to Parker to the right. And that's what they call with Tua coming into the red zone. Fade to Parker to the right. It was every game. And it was like, well, if I'm sitting home watching this, what do you think the defensive coordinator is doing? Right? So it made it harder for that kid. And again, we don't know what the reasoning is. We don't know if Gailey didn't believe in him. We don't know if it just was the conservative approach. But what I do like is if you look at what's going on with the offensive coordinator search, right? So the first coordinator came from New England along with Flores. So that was, part of his staff that he built, right? When we got Gailey, there wasn't an interview process, right? Fired one guy, picked up the phone, called Gailey, come in. So you see what they're doing now, what I like? Flores is actually conducting an extensive search, right? He's going to be doing a full interview process, and I guarantee that interview process is going to be, tell me what you're going to do with my offense, tell me what your plan for Tua is, tell me what type of playmakers you want to bring in. And I'm excited about that because the Dolphins have the money, the cap space, and the draft capital to go and build whatever that vision is. And then we should see the same progress that we saw from the defense this one year. I guarantee you, with the way they're building, you're going to see that next year because they're going with that same strategy.
Rex, let me bring you into this because the moment I said Chan Gailey's name, your face went into your hands and you were ready to lose your mind. And I know, based on talking to people at the fan club in Orlando, you were losing your mind on Sundays when Chan Gailey was doing the play calling on offense. Rex, tell me what your thoughts are, despite the ones I probably already know.
My man, look, losing Chan Gailey might have been my favorite thing that happened this season. It was absolutely driving me insane, his playbook when it came to Tua. And then when he dared come out and say that one week that he didn't have two different playbooks, everybody in Orlando lost their mind. I was like, come on, man. Like, all of us see it. And I get the whole, okay, bring Tua along, conservative approach. And I get the whole, hey, Chan Gailey has history with Fitz, both in Buffalo and at the Jets, so he knows Fitz's tendencies, and therefore, he puts more faith and trust in Fitz and calls more down, field throws. And it was more exciting when Fitz came in, but it was only because Tua was playing with handcuffs on, man. He was playing handicapped as a rookie. I don't think he had a whole lot of liberty to audible out of plays as a rookie, and I don't think he should. But at the end of the day, you got to call the right plays for him, and I just don't think it was there. The few chances that he had, he showed his arm. I've seen him throw a 45-yard pass with a flick of the wrist. So the strength is there. The arm strength is there. I think somebody brought it up earlier. It might have been Jamie, but it was a good point. This year was COVID. We didn't have an offseason. We didn't have a preseason. So now you're throwing a rookie in. Okay, granted, albeit at a backup role for the first, handful of games in the season before you brought him in and replaced him or replaced Fitz with him. But he didn't have all that much practice time with the NFL speed, and I think that was key. I think maybe Brad mentioned it. You give him half a second to think. I saw sometime in that Buffalo game, he was getting eaten alive as soon as the ball was snapped. And you want a rookie to pull off a miracle, and while we're getting just utterly crushed. And so, look, I got faith in the kid. I got to see more than 1 year, and it wasn't even a full year. And I want to see a full off season. I want to see a preseason. I see the comments about keeping Fitz. Ultimately, personally, I would love that. I would, and they had a great dynamic. It wasn't really that quarterback controversy. It wasn't that quarterback battle because Fitz knew his place and he knew what Tua was. Tua was our franchise quarterback. Tua was brought in to be the franchise quarterback. But
correct.
I can't think of too many quarterbacks to mentor a young quarterback
like
other than Ryan Fitzgerald.
Hey Rex.
Or Fitzpatrick, Ryan Fitzpatrick.
Hey Rex, I gotta follow up for you because I think it's gonna be funny, right? You said you wanted Gailey gone. How were your emotions when you heard the ESPN story that he was fired and then you heard them retract the story?
My man, I posted on Facebook, the prayer sign and saying thank you as soon as I heard the rumor that Chan Gailey was gone. And then it was like fake news, no psych, he's still there. And it crushed me, like it broke my heart. And then the story came out that he was gone, and it was like, it was really messing with my emotions. But I thought I was going to have a heart attack.
Well, look,
figured. And then one more thing. I'm sorry, Rex. One more thing. Because I don't know if it's gonna make it back to me. I know you say you want Fitz there next year. I'm actually wrote an article, trashed it, and I think now I need to publish it. Me personally, I love Fitz. Anybody who follows me know how I feel about him. He's going to be a Dolphins quarterback in our hearts. He's going to be one of the ones we remember forever, right? But here's my deal. So this year we loved having the relief quarterback that can end games and be exciting and come in, right? And that's because of the situation you just explained. We had COVID, rookie quarterback. The playbook might not have been open, but now I look at it as let's start making this Tua's team. And I think bringing Fitzpatrick back lets that linger on, right? It's time to let the big brother go off and then let Tua do his thing and not worry about having that guy over his shoulder anymore. Not worry about, I know we didn't have the controversy, but not even think about like guys looking at two people in the locker room like, oh, well, if Tua messes up, we still got the training wheels. I'm saying cut the training wheels. Let's go. Let's get somebody else and let's roll with it.
You know, what I want to do, Matt or Allie, you know, I don't know if you know anybody that can replace Chan Gailey, but I'll go to either one of you. Is there any thoughts of who you'd want to see as the next offensive coordinator? And if you guys don't know anybody, I'm willing to take anybody there.
I really don't know of anybody that's, you know, looking for that position. I haven't really looked into it much, but my feeling is that if there's some, you know, Bama coach maybe that is looking for that job and has worked with Tua and possibly our third pick, maybe.
He's already got a job, Allie.
You know, if there's somebody there, maybe, but I don't know.
Matt?
That's exactly my thought precisely. My pick would have been Steve Sarkisian, but I believe he just took the Texas job.
He did.
So that's out. So I don't know. Like we talked about before, got to go through the interview process now. Start bringing guys in, whether it be the you know, flame of the weeks or the flavor of the weeks coordinators, or more proven guys like, you know, like Doug Peterson just got fired. You know, bring him in. Bill O'Brien, guys that with a proven track record as coordinators. Just get somebody in that can bring the best of Tua's abilities out in the forefront and open that playbook like Jamie was talking about. You know, Tua has tools. Let's see what he can do with a full complement of weapons around him. So, you know, trust the process, I guess, you know, just stick to it.
Exactly.
Anybody but Adam Gase. No Adam Gase.
Can I say something here?
Look, come on now. We're trying to have people come together and not fight. That can't happen at all.
That stadium would be set on fire. Can I say something real quick though?
Hey, but Steven, I think Matt nailed it though. He said a name there that kind of like a lot of people online right now are debating about Deshaun Watson coming from Houston to Miami. Stop it. Who you should be looking at coming from Houston is the gift that keeps on giving. Bill O'Brien.
Don't go there yet, JB. We're not there. I'm going to get to it.
But what I'm saying, though, who you should be looking at from Houston staff is the coach they just fired, Bill O'Brien, right? He's available, offensive mind. He developed Deshaun Watson, the guy that they want, right? That's a guy that can open your playbook. So I like that Matt brought up him as a possible candidate. I hope he gets an interview.
All right, I know everybody's got their thoughts on this, and I want to get to everybody. Let me do a reset here real quick, guys. This is the Miami Sports Music State of DolFan Nation Roundtable. I have fans from all over the country. I got Matt Finevil. I got Dolph Freaky Alley in the building. I got Eric Carrier, the VP of DolFans of Southern New England. I got the one and only Mr. Boom himself, a.k.a. Mr. Brad Wimes. I got the Orlando presidential founder, Rex, in the building. And then I got Jamie Bahamas, your mama. I was trying to find something else to rhyme it with, and I couldn't. 305sports.net. And the new director of Miami Sports Music, Jamie, in the building. And I have the most popular person that seems to be on the panel here this evening, according to the comments, the newest member of the Miami Dolphin or the Miami Sports Music family, Vinsanity.
Hi, everybody.
All right, look, before we get going into the next thing, I just want to state on January 30th, we're going to have another special live event on YouTube, just YouTube only. It's not going to be on Facebook. It's going to be to launch our new website here at Miami Sports Music. We're going to have a flash sale on DWA gear. We're going to take you through the website. We're going to have giveaways. We're going to have so much. I'm really excited about this because, this is an opportunity where 305sports.net and Miami Sports Music have kind of gotten together in a partnership. And we also have other people coming on board to do podcasts like Finsanity, Jamie, myself. It's going to be fun. Even Solo's going to do some stuff. So I'm really excited about this. And so Saturday, January 30th, we don't have a time yet. Just be on the lookout for it. It's going to be on YouTube only, and it's going to be a little quick launch party for the new website. All right, look, I know.
Can I say one thing real quick? I'm sorry about this Gailey thing. All right. So I know we want to talk about, because I know people don't like him, but listen, this is how I feel about Gailey. All he was told was that Tua was the best quarterback to ever run RPO in Bama or in college football. So when he brought that here, he was trying to give Tua something he was supposed to be great at. Now, that's cool. That works. But what negates that is the fact that we did not have a run game to make that RPO honest. So they could literally send heads at this kid. And we seen what happened. Sacks, errant throws, pressure after pressure after pressure. So yes, some of it's on Gailey because we did not have the necessary personnel to run that scheme for Tua. But the fact that we're going to bring Najee Harris back here next year, we're going to see a lot of improvement with whoever our next OC is. And if you want someone who's aggressive and likes to push the ball down the field no matter what, go look at Anthony Lynn and what he has done with the Chargers offense. It's always down the field, 20-plus yard throws. So that's who we need to really be considering if we really want to bring in someone who wants to constantly push the ball down the field. That's all I got to say about that. Sorry.
All right, look.
Hey, Steven. Hey, Steven, this girl knows what she's talking about. Is the reason why you brought her on.
She knows what she's talking about. I'm trying to tell you, I know.
But hey, one thing I want to add, I want to say she stimulated me a little bit too, right? I want to stay on this for a little bit. She's right? RPO was what they told the man to do, and that's what they laid out there. But this is again Gailey being a little bit stuck in his game and stuck in his head, and this is the way he ran it, right? The Dolphins went and made two big investments in their running back for free agency in the draft last season. Everybody remember who they were? All right.
You had Jordan Howard,
right?
Mabrita.
And what happened? He took Howard, right, and said, you know what? I want you to run out routes, right? You have a power bruiser guy, and you're saying, okay, I want you to run these sprint outs, right? And you take Breida, and what you tell him, hey, I want to run power up the middle, right? And that's how we're going to establish our run. And the problem is, it doesn't work. And if you couldn't even use your investments that you have, so you really threw away the RPO game. And the reason why it didn't work, if you notice when they were installing it, like she said, you had Ryan Fitzpatrick there at the time. You had a guy he was already comfortable with. You had a guy, Chan Gailey changed the game. I want to give him his credit where it's due, right? When you look at what Chan Gailey did in the past, he ran the spread offense at the time more than anybody else. His offense had 3 and 4 receivers on the field at any point in time. Look at what they did in Buffalo. Look at what they did with the Jets. It was crazy. People have adjusted to do that now, but he still does it now, and that didn't do well for those running backs that we had there, and it probably caused them to have to find a new job. But you know what? We're looking forward now, so it was good. It was exciting. It was enough to get us where we are today, but it's time to move forward. And I love everything Finsanity said.
Look, Matt Hardberger up there in Ohio has Carrier's name in the comments section. So I'm going to bring it up to Carrier to go to our next topic, which is the topic that nobody really wants to talk about, or at least certain fans do, because that's all the other Dolphin fans are talking about. But you know what? It's a roundtable discussion. We got to talk about it. Deshaun Watson trade rumors. Okay, so let's kind of get going in this little thing here because, look, at the end of the day, seeing a guy like this a couple of years ago wearing a Dan Marino shirt, we already know that he likes South Beach. We know that he likes Miami. But the reality is he, is this something that's practical? Is this real? And if so, what are your thoughts as a fan? Carrier, I'll start with you.
I'm very torn on this topic, mostly because, yes, it's Deshaun Watson. He's probably a top 5 quarterback. He's a multiple-time Pro Bowler. But in a sense, it would be so Dolphins for us to dump a quarterback after 1 year and this kid go on to lead, say, a Saints team to multiple Super Bowls 2, 3, 4 years down the line. I want to stick with Tua just off the fact that he had no weapons. He had no running game. He's got 3 rookies on an offensive line. He's got no wide receivers. He's got a good tight end. He's got Parker, who couldn't stay on the field at the end of the year because of a hamstring injury. I want to see what this kid can do with some guys who can create space, say, I don't know, Devontae Smith, maybe Allen Robinson, guys, big-time wide receivers that can get out there and create space. Everybody wants to say, bring Watson. Everybody forgets that Watson comes with a $35 million price tag next season alone. So now you're looking at, what, $95 to $100 million almost between a quarterback and 2 cornerbacks? You're you're going to destroy your football team by bringing in this quarterback under this current contract. That's how I look at it. Cap space hell is something that we finally dug out of. This year, we're only paying. This past season, we paid what, $17 million or some amount in dead cap space money. This coming season, what are we at, $900,000? We're finally out. Do we really want to bury ourselves in cap space again right off the bat? That's how I look at it. Deshaun Watson is a great quarterback. Don't get me wrong, but I'm not ready to jump ship on a kid who has only played 1 season, went 6-4 with minimal weapons. That's me. You're muted. I can't hear Steven at all.
Me neither.
All right. Hey, look. So is there any, I apologize. I had the thing on mute there. Is there anybody on the panel that wants to see Watson on the team? And if so, why? So I'm looking for somebody who's pro Watson here. Nobody. Finsanity, you're on mute. I see your lips moving. Are you Finsanity?
I can see your lips moving, but I can't hear the
We're
words.
doing that, like out of respect in other panels, we always put ourselves on mute so we don't over talk each other. Sorry, I got to get out of that habit. Like I said, I'm coming from this from a different angle, to be honest. I'm coming from it from Guerrero's perspective. His job is to manage his team and to put us in a position to win. And if he feels like he can get that done with Watson on our team, I'm for it. I cannot think of a single trade that Guerrero has made where we're like, what was he doing? So I think truly, if Watson were to come here, he's going to have a discussion with Watson about that cap number and the hit. He's also going to have a discussion with him about what weapons he wants to acquire and let him know, listen, if you want us to bring weapons, yes, we have a beautiful defense for you, but if you want some offensive help, we're going to need to change that number from 40, 30, wherever it is, and bring it down just a tad bit so we can get you some weapons. And he's also going to be talking to him about the future that we have, because we can't mortgage all of our picks to go and get you. And at the end of the day, I am truly flattered, because people aren't looking at this, that Watson would want to be here. That speaks to our team and how we're actually being perceived now amongst the masses. Before, we were a laughingstock. Dolphins, you go there to retire and get paid. Now, Dolphins, you go there to go and compete and win. And to have a top 5 quarterback say, you know what? I'm willing to go get traded to that team. Let me see what Watson wants to do. I'm here for Tua. Believe me, as long as you're on my team, I support you wholeheartedly. But at the end of the day, if I'm looking at it from Greer's perspective, his job is to put this team in the best position to win each and every season. And if it comes down to robbing Peter to pay Paul, and we can get a Super Bowl out of it, then a lot of us are going to go up there, say, Peter, give me what you got. Paul, here you go. And we're going to take that Lombardi, and we're all going to be celebrating. Ha, ha, ha. And who knows, years from now, we might say, hey, Watson, bye. like we're
I see why Finsanity's the #1 panel person. I know why y'all are.
This only comes from my faith and belief in Grier and how he has managed his team so far. Now, if he missteps and we get Watson and it's a big misstep, I'm going to call him for filth for doing it. But if he can do it and orchestrate it where it does not cripple my team or cripple our future, I'm here for it, because at the end of the day, it's about getting better and being competitive and getting championships, because we have not had one I'm not even gonna tell you how long because we all know how long you haven't had it.
1973.
One played, so
1973. Hey,
look,
look.
it's not popular, but and I love Tua. I'm a Bama fan, but at the end of the day, this is business. This is business, and you sometimes have to leave personal feelings at the door. And us as fans should demand the best from this organization each and every year. And I'm completely flattered, that Watson would consider us. That's how I'm looking at it. That's all.
Now, hold on, Jerry. Before you, I'll let you answer in a second. I think you're going to ask the same thing I'm going to ask, and I'll come to you first, Jamie. But what I want to know is it, as a fan of a team, is it okay to mortgage your future now with what you have? Is it okay to mortgage your future to get a championship right now? And that's into the reality of this question of the Watson talk. So, Jamie, I'll bring you on.
Yeah, so I like that you said that. So I'm gonna answer because that's why I wanted to leave this too, right? So Insanity, love what you're putting down. Here's how I see it. I see the timing. Yeah, I see it, but I don't see the timing being right? Because if Bill O'Brien was still running the Texans, I would say pick up that phone now, right? you would have Deshaun Watson for maybe one draft pick or something like that. Who knows, right? But look
at it for 2 ushers and a bag of popcorn.
You got it, right?
My thing is,
but they just went ahead and did something. Did you guys notice what they went and did? They went and hired somebody from the Patriots organization to run their show, right? And the Patriots, they don't operate like that. They're usually the person trying to fleece teams. And we're sitting with a lot of capital right now. We're the richest team when it comes to draft picks this season. We have a lot of cap space in a year where the cap space is going to be down. I don't see them asking for some. I think it's exactly what Steven brought to, which was going to be my segue, is to get Deshaun Watson, you are going to have to mortgage your future. And if it gets you a Super Bowl, great. But you got to remember what we lived through. The reason why we all tolerated what we called, I didn't call it tanking, by the way. I didn't believe they were tanking, but what we call the first year of the rebuild, the reason that was sold to us was because we didn't want to go back to this other 30 year of mediocrity or maybe we got there and then not be there again. We want to be one of those teams where no matter what, every year you just know that team is going to be in the playoffs. Maybe they win it, maybe they don't. And you don't do that if you put yourself and you scrap yourself again. Just throw out a couple of stats for you guys or a couple of things for you guys real quick. So our leading rusher this season, had only 584 yards this season. There was a man in this NFL season that put up over 2,000 yards by himself, and our top guy only has 500 yards. Our leading receiver was under 800 yards, and in our same division, we had a guy almost double that, right? So we have a lot to. And I say this. And notice I didn't call names. We all know who the names are. Because I love this team and I love the fight and I love the players that are out there. The players went and did what they were supposed to do with what they had, right? But what that does tell you is they need help. But guess what? Help is on the way. We did it. The Dolphins can draft, and I mark my words. I'm saying this exactly. This is literal. This is not a hyperbole. They can draft anybody they want this year. Anybody they want. Honestly, they can do whatever they want. They can go and get any free agent they want. If you were to go and get Deshaun Watson as that guy, then all of that other stuff goes off the table. Now you can't do whatever you want. Now you have to be very strategic. And guess what? What if it doesn't work? Then you're back to where we were 2 years ago trying to figure our way out of it. I don't have the flexibility.
Let me talk to you real quick because you mentioned.
Hold on, let me bring in Brad for a second because I see Brad shaking his head. I don't know if it's in agreement or if it's in disagreement. Hold on, let me. Go ahead, Brad. Start again.
All right. I don't think anybody's seeing this, and you should see this. What if Deshaun Watson goes to Jacksonville? Think about it. What if Jacksonville puts that money in and buys him and gets him? They forgive their pick, right? Whoever, and the Jets pick up Trevor Lawrence. What then?
Well,
that's not going to work because
I'm telling you,
no trade clause. He has to agree to go there first to drop that clause for a specific team. And I don't see he's not. I'm sorry, but I'm just saying like that's a nice hypothetical, but he's not on Deshaun's. They're not on Deshaun's short list.
He has a no trade clause. I think that's what the point, that's going there, Brad.
He gets to say where he ends up, and I don't think the way Jacksonville is ran and potentially going to London in a couple years, he doesn't want that. Two, Jamie, you were talking about how they brought in somebody from New England, and New England's known for fleecing people. Well, we got somebody from New England who's already fleeced this team and shown his ability to fleece.
Agreed.
That's why I said from a GM standpoint, as long as Greer makes the decision, right? I trust Greer with it. Hands down. So if Greer thinks it's a good deal, then hey. But like I said, I'm not here to completely mortgage our future because I truly believe that Greer can get a deal done to where it doesn't in the long run hurt us, but it sustains us.
But that's why. Sorry,
I don't see us giving up both first round picks this year.
Yeah, and
I want to let Brad.
This is just a quick response.
Real quick. Let Brad
Steven,
finish.
this is just a quick one-liner. This is a quick one-liner. Insanity again. Once I agree, but this is why I think it's a stalemate. I don't think a deal gets done because both of those guys know what they have to do.
Brad, go ahead and finish your statement.
I don't think so either.
Well, also, a lot of these people are putting this Deshaun Watson stuff up here, and it's like clickbait, right? It's like you see it's like stop already with the clickbait. Like, okay, you want to have it's the same discussion over and over and over again, and all the Dolphin thing. I'm like, hey, can we just let our guy have a full year? It's like I don't want the microwave league where you just throw the quarterback in there, we get the championship, yay, and then next year we suck for like 15 years because we took this guy and he hurts his leg. It's like, no. It's like everybody wants the microwave league. I want a championship now. No, I want to be, and I hate to say this, and I really hate to say this, but I want to be like New England. I want to win championships over a long period of time. I hate saying that. I absolutely hate saying that.
But what did New England have to sustain that? They had a franchise quarterback.
Allie, I want to bring you in on the Allie and Matt. I know you guys haven't been able to say a little much. Allie, what do you think of this?
So I said today that I wasn't going to talk about this anymore.
I saw your post. Allie literally put just so everybody's information. I'm not talking about this anymore. Moving on.
And here I am talking about this now live. So I've been fighting with people about this for like 3 days now, and just frankly tired. So I really just think this quarterback discussion just needs to end in Miami. It's continual, and it's just frustrating, and exactly what it is. It's clickbait, and it's causing drama amongst the fan base for no reason. This is all speculation, rumors. This is
what's been going on in Miami fan base for years. Look, we thought Beck was the guy, right? We thought. Let me go back to Chad Henne. Let me go back. Let's not get started on Tannehill because we could have a whole show based around what people thought of that man. All right.
Yeah. So I think at this point, like, we just need to stop with this.
Matt,
yeah, go ahead.
Ben Evil, what do you think?
Well, first of all, let me apologize for the off and on. I'm fighting some internet issues, but same thing she said. I've been fighting with people for days over the topic. At the end of the day, and again, I'll apologize if I'm already hitting on things that have already been talked about because I've been in and out. But at the end of the day,
at the end of the day, he got booted off.
You don't want to talk about it either.
All right, look, this is the Miami Sports Music State of DolFan Nation Roundtable Show. I have fans from all over the country. Some are getting booted off, some are getting booted on. I do have some more panel coming on here in the next few minutes. One of those might be the Honorable Solo D. So we're waiting for him to come on. So we're pretty excited about that. You know what? Let's kind of change gears a little bit because we've been talking about that for a while. So one of the things that happened over the last couple of days was some announcements that came out from the league, right? And one of those, a couple of those announcements were the all-pro teams. And so we were able to have Xavier Howard to the first team all-pro, along with the Sandman, Jason Sanders. And believe it or not, the second all-team had Jakeem Grant up there. So, it was pretty exciting to see those things happen. Let me start with Brad. What do you think of that, Brad? And then we'll go to Eric afterwards. Brad, what do you think about, the all-pro teams getting honors there and people like Jakeem Grant and Jason Sanders and obviously X-Man?
Well, I mean, can we all agree that Jason Sanders it takes the honor 1,000%, right? 1,000%, right? Give that man, pay that man. Whoop, right here. All the money, it's yours. You're good to go. You're knighted, right? And then you look at X, right? And I've seen some things with X that I don't like, actually, too. I love Xavier Howard. I love him. But his attitude sometimes is not great. And you can see it. You can see it. And Coach Flo gets on him, too. And you got to watch for it. But he definitely does. As far as Jakeem Grant, I'm in the same boat as Eric. And we've talked about this before. I love this guy, man. I love him. I love him to death. I watched him run a touchdown back on the field when I was on the field. I love the guy. But, like, at the end of the day, I'm like, I'm just not keen on it. That's all. Jason Sanders, of course.
Just to qualify that, though, Jakeem Grant wasn't chosen to the All-Pro team as a wide receiver. He was chosen on special teams, right? Because there's no way Butterfingers is an All-Pro wide receiver.
Y'all got to do that to that man. Come on.
I was getting mad when they kept on throwing to this dude at one point. I'm like, just stop throwing to him. Just anybody else but Jakeem Grant. Now, don't get me wrong.
Yeah,
I like Brad said, I got a special place in my heart for Jakeem Grant as a kick returner. The dude's got speed all day long. Remember that touchdown with him and Albert Wilson when they gave each other a high five, like in the end zone? Look, I love Jakeem, but just not as a wide receiver.
Eric, I want to get your thoughts on this because I know how you feel about Butterfingers, as Rex puts them.
Listen, I'm going to say this until I'm blue in the face. Jakeem Grant is not a wide receiver. Give me him as a kick returner, punt returner 10 out of 10 times. Pay him to keep him on the team in that role. Absolutely. However, Jason Sanders, great season, All-Pro, somehow still was not voted into the Pro Bowl, and I still can't figure that one out. And give me the 3 names of the people who did not vote for Xavier Howard to be on the All-Pro team because they should not have a job in journalism.
Agreed. I think that's the truth. All right, Finsanity. Look, you're being requested by the masses to give your take on this. Tell me where you sit on this.
Listen, they want my take because I was really high on Jakeem Grant, especially after Albert Wilson opted out for very good reasons. This was Keem's shot. This was his opportunity, right? Albert Wilson's only going to be like a $2 million like dead cap hit. So if you could take over this role, we could keep you. You're much cheaper than Albert Wilson, right? It'll help us out in the long run, free agency, all that, yada, yada, yada. He didn't do it. Completely flopped on that. I apologize to everyone who was with me, who was riding the Jakeem, bandwagon and train, saying, you know what? That could be our Tyreek Hill. That could be, our little, deep threat. And every time it was thrown deep. I'm sorry.
I'm going to give my thoughts on this a little bit because, this is something that kind of interests me, and I think it'll be a good segue as we move it further into the roundtable here. Look, Albert Wilson opted out at the beginning of the year, right? And the last person that I can remember that the Dolphins traded for as a wide receiver standout was Brandon Marshall, right? We gave up a lot of capital to go out and get him. And, Miami's not really had good luck since the O.J. McDuffie, Chris Chambers, Oronde Gaston days. And, what I want to see is O.J. McDuffie, Chris Chambers, Oronde Gaston type of guys back in the squad. And I really don't think you're going to do that in free agency. And we're going to talk free agency here in a little bit, but I'm really more interested in the draft, which kind of brings me up to my next segue. And that is the Dolphins today had announced that they will now be the coaches for the Senior Bowl, for the Reese's Senior Bowl team. And for those of you who don't know, Coach Flo was saying the entire Miami Dolphins organization is excited to take part in this year's Senior Bowl. This unique run up to the draft, the Senior Bowl, will be a great opportunity for our coaches and personnel department to interact with these players for a full week. We look forward to working with these prospects as part of our premier event with the tradition of featuring top-tier talent. and that's from Brian Flores. A lot of people don't know there's probably not going to be pro days or anything like that because of the pandemic. And so this gives the Miami Dolphins a leg up to be able to see all the quality talent in the draft. And so, Rex, I'll kind of start with you because you had your hand raised. Where do you see the Dolphins headed? And I want you to discuss the wide receiver situation too.
Honestly, it's like Finsanity said earlier. I trust in Greer, and whatever Greer decides the direction he's going to go in, that's the way we go in. You were talking about receivers like O.J. McDuffie or Rondé Gadsden. Who drafted those receivers? Rather than bringing in a high-profile name like you had mentioned, Brandon Marshall or Mike Wallace, our track record in bringing in a big name free agent to help our wide receivers out isn't that great. So I'm all about getting that kid that just won the Heisman, right? I love that Devontae Smith. But we're going to get him back.
Put your hat down for sanity.
So I think we can trade. Look, if it were me, a lot of people are high on that offensive tackle. Was it Sewell?
Penny Sewell.
Yeah, Penny Sewell. So, look, any direction that we go in, I'm good because that shows that, we're building this team through the draft and we're using that draft capital to build this team rather than going and getting a big name in Ndamukong Suh. Another big name that just doesn't work out.
I mean, look, from a wide receiver standpoint,
Miami, and then we pay him, and it's the worst year of the career.
From a wide receiver standpoint, there's Marvin Jones has already speculated he wants to come here from Detroit, right? There's Julio Jones is probably going to be available. So there's going to be some names that come out onto the market. But the question is, there's guys like Devontae Smith. And then, there's other people that are in the draft too. And I'll bring on Matt real quick here, and hopefully Matt doesn't get booted off again. And if he does, it is what it is. Matt, we're talking about the draft and the wide receiver situation. Where do you see that going?
Well, I guess it all depends on where we end up drafting because there's a lot of rumors that, we could very well try to trade out of that number 3 pick if there's another team willing to trade up. I just think number 3 is too early to draft a wide receiver. And unless we want to try to wait to 18, and in that case, we're not going to get one of the top 1 or 2 guys. So I would love Devontae Smith, obviously. Jalen Waddle would be a name, Jamar Chase. But there's some other guys, second round. I just don't know if they're the impact that a Devontae Smith could be instantly on this offense. So I guess we'll see where we end up drafting and see who's available, I guess.
And Juju Smith-Schuster is one of those guys. I'll let anybody kind of jump on. What do you all see from the draft this year and also free agency from a wide receiver standpoint?
Juju can jump in his Cadillac and head somewhere else. Corvette. Sorry.
Juju's a good number 2. That's what I'll leave it at. He had the opportunity to be number 1. To me, he's a solid number 2.
Hey, real quick, before we go, I just want to add one more person to the stream. We have one of my good friends coming on right now. A lot of you know him from East 32 Dolphins Tailgate, Mr. Cameron Scott. Everybody give it up for Cameron.
Good evening. How are you?
Hey. Pretty good, Cameron. Thanks for coming on, man. I'm glad you're on for this last hour, man. I appreciate you. How are you, man? How's it going?
Good, man. Happy New Year, everybody. I've just had to bust my butt up from Miami to make the 8 o'clock here. So, hey, man, glad to be here.
All right. Well, look, I'll let you kind of take over, and then anybody else can follow up with Cameron afterwards. We're talking about the wide receiver situation as well as the draft and Devontae Smith, and then big names like Juju Smith-Schuster and Julio Jones. What do you see the Dolphins doing this offseason with the wide receiver and a draft standpoint?
Hey, listen, so first of all, unfortunately, I wasn't able to listen to the first hour, so I don't know if I'm going to rehash anything that anybody already said. I imagine most of us have the same opinion, but, man, I want to stick to our guns and keep the draft picks we got. There's plenty of draft capital that we've built up, that the team has built up to really take advantage of what's out there. And really our needs say, number 1, wide receiver, and there's 3 at the top of the list that will be available at that number 3 pick. And whether it's Chase or Smith or Waddle, I'm happy with any one of them. And if I have my pick, I would take Waddle first and Chase second in that order.
Anybody else can go on next.
So I want to take, just not even speaking specifically from the wide receiver, I want to throw some love out there to Chris Greer and Brian Flores a little bit. So we're talking about them. We started this by talking about them coaching the Senior Bowl. All right. Do you guys realize that how many teams passed on that opportunity and how that's why how much faith and how much love I have in who's running the team? The Dolphins didn't get the opportunity to coach in this Senior Bowl off of their third pick. That was Houston's decision. Carolina and the Dolphins are the two teams that opted to do it. So that tells you that upwards of more than a handful of teams said, nah, I don't want to go see, right? So that's the first part. So we have the right people making decisions. So they're taking in all the information to make that decision. Now, I got to say, I keep throwing love to Finsanity. I was right there with you with Jakeem Grant. I saw the hype videos in the offseason. I really thought that he would come in. I even did a piece on it talking about how he'd be the most improved. I was wrong. So what that tells me is, yeah, I'll admit it, I was wrong. But when I look at it, look, the Dolphins believed in Parker, and that's why they gave him the deal, and he's going to be there, right? And somebody brought up Juju Smith-Schuster. Ultimately, I'm not the GM, but I'm not going to bring in Schuster because I have Parker. To me, that fits the sort of the same role. What you want to bring in is if I keep modeling after Pittsburgh, minus the head case, you need the Antonio Brown now, right? That's what you need to bring in, and I like the draft capital they have to go and get it. As far as this is a debate I always have, and I keep going with it now, is yes, they have the number 3 pick, right? And yes, you can always trade down. And we always say, hey, that pick might be too high to go get that guy, so I'll trade down. Well, if you follow through their career, if you end up with the next, greatest wide receiver of all time, if that's the need that you have, do we really care what pick we got him at the end of the day? So I trust, again, I trust Greer to do what he has to do. And if he finds the opportunity to even make those picks greater, but at the end of the day, if he sees this guy and that's what they want to spend to go get their guy, go get it, as long as it turns into being the right guy.
Yeah, I'm with that.
I couldn't agree with you more. And I don't know if you guys talked about it earlier, but the decision the Dolphins took, Flores and Greer to coach in Mobile is huge. Not only for their own team, but they get to scout every one of those players going to the draft and keep a log on those guys for all those draft picks throughout the 7 rounds. And that's just an amazing opportunity to build so much information, not only for this year, but years on down the road. Whether they want to trade for a guy, just having that data on a certain player when they face them on the field, incredible opportunity.
Yep.
Allie, let me ask you, is there any wide receivers that you want to see back next year?
Yeah, I think we need to see Parker back. I mean, he probably had the most potential of anyone. So, yeah, I'd go with him for sure.
What about Albert Wilson?
Well, yeah, I think we need to see Wilson for sure. Yeah, we need to see what he's got. We haven't seen it.
I know, right? I totally agree. And the reason I asked the question the way I'm asking, and anybody feel free to answer, please, Eric, whoever. Today on social media, the thing is everybody's like, all right, let's get rid of all the wide receivers except for Devontae Parker. And it just kind of got me thinking, first of all, I don't know how insane that statement is, but number two, what wide receivers would other teams want from our team besides Devontae? Are there other guys that they would want playing at the wide receiver position?
I think Preston.
Oh yeah, don't forget you had a guy go down hurt this year, right? We want to forget him, but don't forget him, Preston Williams.
Eric was bringing him up.
Okay.
Listen, I love the unicorn. I think he deserves one more shot. You can stay healthy, you have a spot here. He's obviously a great wide receiver, big, tall receiver that's going to go up and get those jump balls that you need at times. And I'm giving him one more chance. You need to stay on the field if you want to stay in this uniform, is basically what I would tell him.
Eric, you're so right.
Really need, and it's really simple. We need a wide receiver that can run routes.
Correct.
That's what we need. So if we can get a wide receiver to run routes, anyone on this team, probably except for Parker, is very expendable right now to me, because so what we can keep throwing up to these guys. We need separation, and it's been seen. We keep saying we need separation. Who's our third down wide receiver? Who can we go to on third down? No one, because none of them can run a route to get open. None of them can run an option route with competency because they don't understand the zones that are being ran on third down. So that's what we need. We need more development in that wide receiving room, 1. And 2, we need a real route runner, because we can throw it up all day, but 50-50 balls eventually will get picked off. That's my state on our wide receiver room. So that's
Steven, you nailed it when you said people reacting on social media. People on social media doing what they do best, and they're reacting to the here and now, right? They forget about Preston Williams. They forget about Albert Wilson. They forget about the wide receivers we still have on this team, which is why we don't need, again, to mortgage the farm to get a big-name wide receiver. Just draft a wide receiver. We've already got some on our roster that are decent. People are just forgetting about them because they haven't seen them all year.
Well, Hearns he wasn't great, but he had injuries, but Hearns is also a name that has a potential to make this team next year when he comes back. So, by the way, I'm not saying we don't need receivers. I'm just saying the cabinet isn't empty, you know.
I look at it as, what's the number one rule that Coach Flo says he wants in his players? Guys that love the game, love football, right? I look at the Wilson and Allen Hearns situation as guys who I don't know their exact situations. They opted out for whatever reason. One was having a baby. Ryan Fitzpatrick played in a game the day after his mother died. Why? Because he loves his team and he loves football, right? Does Coach Flo take that these guys opted out and didn't want to play for their brothers like 99.6% of the other league, and that 0.4% being the New England Patriots because they tried to tank and couldn't? Does Coach Flo take into account that these guys opted out, and maybe football's not in their heart like the rest of these guys that played and dealt with it all season long?
I actually want to answer that. I would totally disagree with you on that, Eric. And here's
that's why I'm asking.
Well, I mean, the reason why is Flo. The reason that Flo is such a good coach is because he's a player's coach, and he's going to take the players. Hey, if Albert Wilson walked into that office, which I'm sure he did, and said, "Hey, coach, I just don't feel comfortable playing this year. I have a newborn. I have, this is what's going on," and I think that he wouldn't have thought. I don't think Coach Flo would have thought twice about that from that standpoint. I do think it's a valid argument, right? I do think it's something to be said. But look, every Sunday, Albert Wilson was on Twitter. I follow him, and he was watching every single game, and he's invested into the team emotionally. So I personally, I don't know if anybody feels differently. I personally don't think that way. I think that, he's invested in the team, and I don't think Coach Flo feels any ill or animosity towards him.
So Steven, I'll back you there a little bit, right? Not even a little bit. Let's rewind, right? So much has changed since March last year when this whole thing ballooned, right?
Yep.
Think about the decision these guys had to make. So nobody really knew what the hell COVID was, right? Nobody really knew what this pandemic would bring. And these guys were told to make a decision. And if you don't make this decision now, it's on you. They couldn't come back after that day and that deadline and say, oh, well, you know what? We learned more, and my newborn baby, or, my mother who I'm taking care of, who has these special conditions that they're telling me is really bad, that this thing is now affecting them. Family first, right? So I know football is a family part of it too, but real life is there too. And they didn't have all the information we have today. They didn't know that the league would actually pull off all the games and nobody would actually even die, right? So you can't really fault them for what they did. They made their best interest for them. Now, what happens now is a different story. Do they walk back in the door in shape? Are they ready to play ball? Are they ready to get down with this next season? That's what matters. So that's how I see it.
I took something from the players. I don't know if it was, you can classify as their outgoing thing. And they said, what was the biggest thing with Flo this year when it came to the COVID situation? And Flo told them all, Do not be embarrassed if you have to sit out because you contracted COVID. It's out there. We're going to get it. You're going to get it. It's not something to be embarrassed about. We'll back you 100%. And I think that falls under that same thing I was questioning about Hearns and Wilson. I don't fault them at all. Jamie Brink, when these guys are told you need to make a decision right now, and at the time it was what? Basically, if you're old or you're a newborn or you have any type of condition and you catch COVID, you're going to die. That's all we knew back then.
Yep.
Right? Right.
That's what it was.
I don't think, and nobody thought this season was going to happen. I thought week 4, week 5, max. We're going to get just like basketball. Basketball's in trouble right now. They're going to have to pause the season. The Celtics, the Heat, Philly, they all have massive issues right now. The Celtics were going to play the Heat with 2 popcorn vendors and a mailman last night until the league stepped in and was like, no, it's not going to happen. So I get them opting out. I'm not saying it was in a bad sense. I was just questioning the scenario. What you guys thought on the situation.
Cameron, I love that comment. I love that comment that you just popped up there, Steven. I love that. I wanted to bring that up, right? The Dolphins did an amazing job, and that goes back to keep plugging Flores, right? They did an amazing job in this year when you look at what the Browns, what happened to the Browns, what happened to the Titans, what happened to the Raiders. The Dolphins' worst week was, I believe, against the San Diego Chargers, where they had 5 coaches that went down, and only 1 coach actually had it, and it was just the other coaches were coaching with him. So that was the biggest outbreak they had. When you compare that to other teams, that just shows you how well prepared, how well run, how much, think about it. We know, we're Dolphins fans. We know dysfunction. We finally have a team that's not dysfunctional, and that's proof right there this year. That's proof why things are going to be different.
Cameron, I saw that you wanted to say something.
In relation to Albert Wilson, you also have to think he was coming off a pretty devastating hamstring issue, leg issues. I know he was working hard to get back. And I'm not saying, he made a decision, claiming COVID, being scared of COVID not to play. But, he took a redshirt season in my eyes. Maybe he's getting his health back right, and he'll come back to this team, the player he was with Kansas City, because he clearly wasn't when he tried to come back last year. I would love to see that Albert Wilson in this offense, or at least an offense surrounded around Tua. And all of this that we're talking about is really a moot point until we understand who the OC is and what kind of system is put in place. We can all have our opinions and what we'd like to see, built around Tua if he's our man moving forward. But until an OC is, signed and the system's put into place and that offensive coordinator brings his staff in, we won't know, what type of players we're going to go get after in free agency or the draft.
Finsanity, I want to bring you in real quick for a segue. And one of the names I did not hear from any of the panel, and I was very surprised about it, was Lynn Bowden. And with that also being said, what does the running back situation look like going into next year? And who would you want to see the Dolphins pursue? Is there anybody in free agency, or is there somebody in the draft you'd like to see that you'd like to see go? So, talk about Lynn Bowden first, and then obviously you could talk about
bring up this guy. Okay, yeah, because you're missing the show he's putting on. He's putting on quite a show right now for all the world to see. Since everyone was talking about Travis Etienne and all them guys.
About Travis Etienne.
Man, listen, I like Lynn Bowden as a receiver. I don't like him as a running back, and that's just me being honest. I want a big guy.
Neither did Oakland. Neither did the Raiders.
Yeah, I want him. Somebody would say Hubbard. Okay, it depends where you want to draft your running back at. Okay, guys, we'll see where them value that position, the running back position in the draft class. All right, cool. But yeah, I don't see Bowden as a running back. I saw him as a go-to guy for Tua when he was in trouble a lot, which was really good. I hated that Grant played that Raiders game because we all remember that one bobble that Grant had across the middle of the field. Had Bowden caught that was a touchdown. We're not worrying about Fitzmagic coming in, and we're not gonna compare Bowden to Grant, but let's just say Bowden's more productive in the slot than Grant will ever be. So as far as a running back, no, I don't like his size back there. And for him to be, you need like a 3-down back I don't want to have like a designated third down back, and that's why
I don't want to have a running back by committee. I don't think
I'm tired of that. That's why you go out and you get yourself from Alabama, number 22, Najee Harris. Oh my gosh. Derrick Henry 2.0, aka the Beast, aka the most productive back that's ever come out of Bama, and you guys know the name. I'll give you guys a hard task. It's going to be so hard that it's so easy for you. Please name a running back that's come from Bama that has not been productive. I'll give you a name that you probably didn't even know that was at Bama, and that's Alvin Kamara. But he was there with Henry and Kenyon Drake, so he had to take us behind up to Tennessee. That's how good the recruitment of running backs are. So when you get yourself, okay, Trent Richardson, yeah.
Great. And Najee Harris just scored a touchdown. Look at Insanity speaking stuff into existence as we talk live on the air.
Najee Harris is your guy. He already has a chemistry with Tua with RPO, handing the ball off, catching the ball. He can do all that. He can come out the backfield and run a beautiful screen pass for you. He's a bruiser. He's a powerful back. Oh yeah, he just ran a 1 yard touchdown on the goal line, which Kenyon Drake seemed to always fumble. He's not a guy that he's strong, he's power, and he's going to get you 1,000 yards by himself. And if you want to go for it on 4th and 1, you just turn around, hand it off to him, and we keep our drives alive. That's all.
Hey, Insanity, I think I got the name of your show. I know we're still working on names for your show, but I think it's Talk Smack with Finsanity. I think because you are talking that smack, girl. I'm trying to tell you.
There's no one else you need. He's everything you can want in the back.
Well, hey, look, let me bring in Allie. Allie, let me ask you, and then we'll go to Rex after this. What do you think about Myles Gaskins? What did you think about the running backs this year for the Dolphins?
I think overall our running backs were just mediocre, and it wasn't really their fault with all the switching up and all the things going on. But overall, I do think Gaskins was the best out of what we had. Is it a long-term option? Probably not. But, I mean, obviously out of everything that we had to work with, he was the best.
Rex, what do you think? Ahmad and Washington and
I'm glad you brought both of those names up because I was about to mention them as well. It seemed like no matter who we put in, they would have like one decent game and then that's it. They would fall flat. They wouldn't come back and they wouldn't have consecutive games. We saw Salvin Ahmed go off one game, right? He had one good running game, or he had one good game to me. Maybe there was more and I just didn't notice it. Washington, we brought him in. He had a couple of good runs. He looked good for a little bit. And then that was it. We never saw him again. So it was like, I felt like this team was like the Bermuda Triangle for running backs this year. We'd stick somebody in, and then that's it. They'd never see him again. But I think, I go with Finsanity. I'm look, if we can get Najee Harris, if we can get a bell cow running back to just every down, sure, every now and then give him a breath and put somebody like Gaskins in. But, getting a running back that can really take the reins for this team is going to be important. It's going to just help Tua out, especially going into his sophomore season.
All right, we got about 30 minutes left on the roundtable of the State of DolFan Nation. Tonight, we want to take your questions. So when you post your question in the post, use the hashtag DolFan question, and we'll try to go through some rapid fire questions. So I'll give you all a few minutes to start putting some questions in there. Put DolFan question, hashtag DolFan question in all the questions for tonight's roundtable panel, and we'll go through that. Last thing I just kind of want to talk about before we go to that is, the defense. Is there anything on defense that you saw this year? Look, the defense played great right up until the end, right? So, what does the defense need to just, be elite for 16 games out of the year? What did you guys see?
So all season, we were the second least amount points scored on defense. And then I think going into that last game of the season, we were the least scored on defense. This defense did its job. This defense stood up, up until the last game. When, look, and we ain't even going to talk about that. I wish I could forget about it. But defense was great. I think it was a big step up from what you saw the year before when we were getting ran all over. We were getting beat up every week.
This year you can tell that Brian Flores is a defensive-minded coach because that defense got good and it got good in the quickness.
Let me jump in there, Rex, because you hit on something. It got good quickly because of who we brought in. Lawson Agba, drafted Davis. You got to realize Godshaw is going to come back next season, hopefully, provide a little depth. And I think, in my opinion, that's what this team needs is depth up front, depth in the linebacking core. They drafted heavy in the backfield, and you can tell that the secondary was developing towards the end of the year. So really, in my opinion, upfront depth is something this team needs. Seiler was a great re-sign. I think he's a good run stopper. But the contain on the ends was much better this year over 2019 for sure. Just got to pay that man Agba.
Oh, I love that cornerback combination, though, with Byron Jones and Xavier Howard, the league's leading interception, players. So, look, it's a no-fly zone in Miami as long as we can, start getting some pressure on those opposing quarterbacks a little bit better, improve that defensive front line. The linebackers, I'm in love with. I'm with you, Cameron. I'm up on this defense right now.
All right. So
Steven, hold on. I want to answer that real quick. Sorry. Again, I agree with what these guys said. I love the defense. One thing I do want to see that they add to this defense, though, is we love that amoeba defense, that front that Flores is running, but I want to see them improve from the safety standpoint. I want to see a better safety drop back. And then the reason why I say that is, look what we have to contend with going forward. The Buffalo Bills offense is a reason we gave the Buffalo Bills in the first time around everything we could. We gave Kansas City everything we could. And it was a really good game against Kansas City. The problem is when you have better players, when you have the Kelseys and the Hills of the world, there's going to be a breakdown at some point when people are going to get away from Byron Jones. They're going to get away from Howard. I would love to see us get an all-pro safety in the backfield. So that's one area I'd love to see that defense build on and just keep it going.
All right, so now we're going to do DolFan question time, all right? So this is what we're going to do. I want to try to get as many questions as I can, and we have a lot of questions in the comment section. So I'm going to call on two of you for each question and give me your thoughts and try to make it to about 30 or 45 seconds, all right, guys and ladies? All right, here we go. First question from Mark Angelo, who was on the panel earlier this evening. Mark was having trouble out there with that dial-up, You've Got Mail, that AOL speed dial internet that he had. He said, will X Factor get a new deal or will he be traded for picks? I'm going to start with Jamie and Eric. Will X Factor get a new deal or will he be traded for picks? Jamie, go first.
So I was trying to look up real quick what Xavier Howard's new agent's name is. I can't remember right now. So if anybody in the panel wants to help me out, that's great.
David
Cantor. Yep. I bring him up for a reason.
David Cantor.
Cantor. There you go. Cantor. I bring him up for a reason. He doesn't have a good track record with the Miami Dolphins. Now it's been he has some history with Greer, but the problem is this guy knows how to get value for his players, and he tries to drive the price up for his players. And a few high-priced Dolphins have walked off to different teams and got better contracts working with him. So he's a smart agent. So will he come and ask for a price? I would do too if the guys like Howard just put up a Pro Bowl year, all-pro year, right? So I would ask for more money too. But I think that this might come into some trouble because he's the type of agent that will go for blood. So do I think he gets a new contract? Well, I think it goes back. Now I'm going to jump on my girl, Finsanity. I trust Greer, right? I think they'll negotiate a deal. And if it works for the team, and if it's something that works for Greer and the success of the Dolphins, they'll stick with him. If his price is too big and he wants to say, you know what, I'll sit out, I don't want to, I'll hold out or whatever, I see him saying take a trip. So it's in the hands. It's a cop-out answer in a way. It's Greer's decision, but it depends on what's best for the team.
All right, Eric, what's your thoughts?
I'm gonna roll, with Jamie and Finsanity. Is I trust. It's been a long time since we've been able to say that we trust the decisions this regime's gonna make. We're so used to the Tannenbaums and the Irelands and who throw money around like it's nothing, and hence why we're still paying all these guys this past year. I see Ohio State just scored. You look at who who's the better corner right now than Xavier? In my personal opinion, nobody. You know, the second closest right now is you have to say Ramsey. And what's Ramsey? 5 years, $100 million. You know, after a 10-year interception, on pace like no cornerback's been in the last 29 years or something crazy. You know he's going to want his due. That's just the type of guy that I think Xavier Howard is. But he also said in his last interview the other day is he looks forward to seeing the direction that this Dolphins team is headed. He's excited. It's an exciting time in Miami, I believe he said, and our fans deserve it, if I'm not quoting him directly. But this is a kid that wants to be here. This isn't the same regime where these guys are just go, nope, I am not taking a hometown discount. I am getting paid because I want to go somewhere that's going to pay me, and we're going to have more fun than this team, or I'm going to get treated better by the staff. Guys players are flocking to Miami right now. When was the last time you've seen an active player before week 17 come out and say, I'd like to go to Miami like Marvin Jones did? Exactly. You know what I mean? Guys want to come to Miami because they want to play for Flo. They want to be, with Chris Greer, and they want to be, with an owner that's going to back them and let them be the people that they want to be out in the community and have their voice and stand up for their causes that they want, like Stephen Ross does. I just think that all those together, this new regime, coaching staff, is going to play a bigger part than we all think. And I think Xavier Howard gets a new deal and stays here.
All right. Let's go to the next question. I want to try to get to more questions, so try to keep it to about 30 or 45 seconds. Next up, we're going to have Finsanity and Rex. The question comes from Donald and Irene Young. The question is, would exploring a trade with hot Atlanta getting Julio Jones be plausible for the number 18 pick? Proven wide receiver commodity as opposed to depending on a rookie. What do you say? Finsanity, we'll start with you.
I can't wait for this answer.
I know.
I need to see how they're being.
Donald's my guy, but we're going to talk about injuries, lack of productivity with touchdowns, and you want me to give him my 18th pick? I know he's a high yardage guy, but he's old. He's too old, and Flores and Greer want to keep guys young on this team. So as much as I would love to have Julio Jones, the injury of it all, when I can get a young guy, nah, I'm sorry. We already have injured wide receivers. I'm not going to mortgage my 18th pick to go bring in another injury-prone wide receiver. But I love you, Donald.
Rex, what's your thoughts on this?
Yeah, man, not for the 18th pick. I wouldn't give that up for Julio. I think that there's other wide receivers out there. If we're going to bring in a veteran wide receiver, I think that there's other ones out there. We talked about Juju Smith-Schuster earlier. Somebody that's not going to cost as much. If that's what it's going to cost to get Julio. It might not cost us that. Look, if we can bring in Julio for cheap, I'm all about it. Because I've seen the stud that he was, with Matt Ryan in Atlanta. So, but yeah, we got to be careful. We're rebuilding right now, and it's the same argument with trading for Watson. It's going to mortgage the franchise, and I'm not doing that for a quarterback, so I'm damn sure not doing that for a wide receiver.
I love Julio, but not for $44 million over the next 2 years.
All right, next up, we're going to have Gregory King, and this will be for Alley Cat and also Cam. Who do y'all think will be the backup for the Miami Dolphins next year, since since Fitz apparently will not be here? So who do you guys think will be the backup? Will it be a veteran? Will it be Fitz? Will it be a rookie?
Did I miss something where Fitz said he wasn't coming back for sure? Did I miss that?
Yeah, Fitz. Well, I mean, nothing's official, obviously, but the rumor is Fitz is not going to re-sign here in Miami.
That's a shame.
Regardless
of that, I just hope he still continues to have a role with our organization. But man, who's going to be our backup now? I don't know. This is something to think about here.
It is. Cam, any thoughts? Who do you think's the backup in Miami next season?
Well, I'm with Allie. I haven't heard anything, concrete, and things are so fluid. We're still, in the NFL season. Never know what's going to happen in the offseason. I'd love to see Fitz back. I'd love to see him, in the mentorship role that he was in with Tua. But I also want to see the Dolphins draft a quarterback in the later rounds and develop a quarterback. I think, I'm from that school. You always have to draft a quarterback.
Okay.
Anybody else have any take on this?
And I'm not saying to take Tua's place. I'm not saying that at all. But developing quarterbacks on your roster, so you're not signing somebody off the street, is pivotal for a winning franchise.
Eric and Insanity and Jamie, I guess. Yeah, everybody kind of.
I'm sorry. I'm watching Devontae Smith go for 363 right now. So
hey, listen. Somebody from here better be picked on draft day, or we should all be up in arms. That's all I'm going to say. That's all I'm going to say. I don't care. Pick one of them. All right. But listen, as long as Dwayne Haskins is not our backup quarterback, I'm happy. Let's just leave it at that.
That's hilarious. So so look at this year, right? You always look at history. Look at how many guys that were sitting as backup quarterbacks who we never heard of, that were either rookies or somewhere, but the team was there developing them, right? And look, most of them did, like, I call him Heineken, right? Look at Heineken for Washington.
Taylor Heineke.
Yeah.
Dude, I was rooting for him so bad the other night. I wanted him to do it. And I'm not going to lie, I also wanted Montez to go into the game too. I thought that would have been cool.
Right. So why I bring that up is, again, you heard me say earlier, this is Tua's team. Training wheels are off. I love Fitz, right? If Fitz is there, I accept that. But we got to, start developing the next person. So if we run into that situation, we have a guy that's in our system that can keep rolling with that. And it's a clear direction on whose team it is going forward. So I'd love to see us draft a quarterback, not early, somewhere down in the later rounds, and try to develop him. And that's the backup.
The only thing I worry about with doing that this year is, like we were talking about earlier, Tua didn't really have a full year of preparation. He had 1 year behind Ryan Fitzpatrick, and I love Fitz, and I hope he does come back. I haven't heard those reports either. But Jamie, you talked about that mentor role, and I think that it would still behoove Tua to have a veteran quarterback there. If Fitz decides that he's going to walk, then bring in somebody, like like a Nick Foles. I'm not saying Nick Foles, but bring in somebody like a Nick Foles, somebody else that's a journeyman like Ryan Fitzpatrick, that's been around the league, played for a couple of teams, seen how things are, maybe even made the playoffs before in their career, to kind of provide that mentorship, rather than drafting another quarterback coming out of college. And now you have a sophomore and a rookie quarterback on the team. Don't get me wrong. I love drafting talent and I love building talent, but I think when we have a young franchise quarterback like we do, that veteran presence as a mentorship role is valuable.
Well, what if I toss something up there for you? Like, let's look at, Tampa Bay has Brian Leftwich, right, as their, in their coaching staff. What if we were to bring in, a veteran mind from that standpoint, and not necessarily somebody who's going to run out on the field, right? It would give you the same value, right?
You say that because I think an X factor, or a wild card, better yet, a wild card, is that the coaching staff goes to Fitzpatrick and says, do you want to be the offensive coordinator? That's not.
I wouldn't make him the coordinator. He wouldn't be. I don't see that happening.
It's not off the wall to think about in today's league, right?
I see him being a member of the. He could be a member of the staff. He could be a member of the staff. He could be somebody in Tua's ear, but I don't see him call. Okay, let me just take it back. I don't want him calling plays.
I don't want to see what his playbook looks like. That's what I don't want to see.
All right. Let me get a few more questions in.
Interception, pass, interception, pass, interception, fumble.
All right, let me get a few more. All right, this is for Finsanity and Jamie. Andres says, DolFan question, who do you guys pick at 3rd and 18? So real quick, I want to preface this question that this is, we're not trading out of anywhere. This is, who do you think will be picked in these spots for the Dolphins if they pick there?
So I said it before, I don't care about value when it comes to you having to pick if it's your guy. With that 3rd pick, I'm going after the Heisman Trophy winner. All right. I think you could get him later or whatever the case is, but to me, it doesn't matter. If it turns out to be the guy, who cares that I used the 3rd pick on him? And with the 18th pick, I'm just going to be a little bit nostalgic, and I think it's a need. I was thinking maybe second round for this pick, potentially, but I think he'd be a first round guy. But you know where I'm going? Patrick Surtain.
Wow.
Oh.
I think he's
Don't
there.
break my heart like that.
So
Go ahead. I want to hear Finsanity.
so Alabama love, right?
No. Listen, at the end of the day, I'm with you on Smith or Sewell. I don't think Sewell is going to be invited to the Senior Bowl because he opted out of this season, which is really sad because we're not going to get to see anything from him. We don't know his conditioning. We don't know if we're going to get a combine to see, his mechanics and all that and his strength and all that. He has amazing footwork. The dude is a bruiser. I would have loved for him to at least play maybe a couple games, but a couple, plays on film. But we know what you're getting to if that's the guy that's coming. Personally, you kind of got to help protect Tua. It kind of, to me, it's always going to depend what we do in free agency. But with the third overall pick, go ahead and get Devontae Smith. A lot of people are going to kill me for that, but I love Devontae. And he's out here putting on a clinic, and he can run routes. Ironically, he's putting on a clinic for everybody. Hopefully, you guys are watching. Your next wide receiver for the Miami Dolphins. He's going to look great in his colors.
Insanity. Can I tell you who I think the first Alabama player be drafted by the Dolphins? Landon Dickerson.
Yeah. Oh, okay. Yeah. No, that high? Well, not that high.
I'm not saying 18th, but somewhere in the second round, third round, because
he's not a first round pick. But
he's a left-handed center, and Tua, he spins the ball the same way Tua needs a feeling in his hand, being a left-handed quarterback.
Yeah. I was looking at potential centers that we could get, but they are all old. Oh my gosh, they're all old. The whole free agency is very old when you go out and look at it, like who's going to be available and who probably won't get franchise tagged. As far as the 18th pick, give me Parsons. Give me Micah. And I love Patrick Surtain, but I feel like with what we have in X, Noah Igbenogany, hopefully we can continue to develop him. We still have Nick Needham. We still have Byron Jones. Hopefully Brandon Jones can take over for Bobby and then maybe put Bobby back in the slot. There's a lot of things we can do because the way that Flores coaches these guys, they all can play multiple positions on that defensive side of the field. But we need a true Mike. And Micah Parsons can do that. That's it.
I like that answer too. I like that answer. But the reason I said a DB because you can't ever have too many in their defense. But you think Parsons is going to be around 18?
He should be
top 10.
But personally, I
don't think Surtain's going to be there at 18.
Right. I feel like he's less likely to be there. But
Surtain is the top 10 pick. Top 10 pick.
Well, we saw DBs drop this last year, so I was saying maybe they drop again this year, right? So we'll see.
All right, I actually have a question for the entire panel, and I'll start with Allie. Where do you see the Dolphins? What do you see the Dolphins do next season? I mean, do we win more than 10 games? Are we the AFC East champions? Like realistically, try to take the fan out of it. Where do you see the Dolphins next year? Like as a team, as a squad, are we a contender? What do you think?
I think we're absolutely a contender, and really we can only go up from here at this point. So seeing as we have an extra game next season too, I'm going to go with let's say 12-5. I feel like that's fair. It shows.
Is that official?
Yep.
Yep, that is official. So we're going to have 17 games.
Well, let's say it this way. They agreed on the structure to do it. So in principle, they saying they have a way of doing it. They like money and they need to make the salary cap back up. They're going to come back and meet and they'll finalize it. So consider it in pencil.
So Allie, you say they're going to be 12-5. Are they going to win the East? Or are they going to be a wild card?
I mean, I feel like it's probably just going to be a wild card. I don't think Buffalo is going to come down from their spot so quickly. So I'm going to go with a wild card.
All right,
but I think
Cameron.
we should.
Cameron, what do you think next year?
You know what? Off seasons become such an important factor going into the next season, especially ours here in Miami. First, we need to know who an offensive coordinator is. We've got to go through the draft process. This league, year after year, it's just like throwing all the teams in a popcorn machine and see what comes out. A lot depends on schedule. A lot depends on injuries. And we're all still dealing with the pandemic, and you never know what we're going to be, seeing next August, September. 10-win season was a hell of a job for this team. To build upon that in the NFL, man, you're asking a lot, in my opinion. Now, 10 wins should have gotten us into the playoffs.
Most years it would have.
Normal year it would have, and we would have been happy as heck. But, I'd be happy with 10, 11 wins next season as long as it makes the playoffs. I don't care if it's an 8-win season. As long as they're in the playoffs, I'm good.
Eric, I want you to go next. I'll get to you, Finsanity. Slow down.
No, I just wanted to answer. I just wanted to 10 wins to get you in the playoffs. Not 10 wins this year was not going to get you in the playoffs when 3 competent teams in the AFC North had the 3 easiest strength of schedule. It was not going to be good enough. I'm sorry, and it showed, and that's the reason why all 3 of them made it.
Well, I think we can all agree that Washington should have donated their playoff spot.
We're not in the NFC. Listen, we could have been in the AFC South, but people want to keep us in the East because of our rivalry with the Jets. That's life for you. Money.
All right, Eric, tell me, what do you think next year?
Well, obviously, I think we got to continue building on this year. You obviously don't want to regress and go back down to an 8-8 season. I think we would all look at that as a major failure. I think we've set the standard now at, having a winning culture this year with lack of offensive weapons. Now you're going to add offensive weapons. But, having a 10-6 season comes with a tougher schedule next year. You're looking at games at Tampa Bay, at Saints, at Tennessee. You don't know if Breeze is going to be quarterback in the Saints next year. You don't know if Brady, is going to ride off into the sunset if he wins the Super Bowl this year. And then you got Lamar Jackson at home. You got, a fairly easy home schedule. So I'm straddling the same lines of this season, with plus 1 or 2 more victories. I like to see, that 11 and what is it, 11-6, 12-5 next season. That extra game is going to mess me up for months. I tell you what.
Right.
Remember they got 9-4. Well, wait, no, we played. No. And our boy just scored a touchdown. In case you guys are wondering.
Go look at the route he ran.
Rex, where do you see us?
I just looked up. It's literally above my computer, but I was looking at you guys trying to act like I haven't been playing Call of Duty and talking this whole time.
Hey, I'm gonna be getting on Call of Duty tonight too.
And I just looked up and saw a touchdown.
But no,
quick, Rex, shout out your gamer tag for Call of Duty.
And Ali said, I think Cameron might have touched on it too. Yeah, you know what? Building off of a 10-6 season is tough. However, we weren't ready for the playoffs this year. I mean, that showed the last game of the season. So we're not there at the top tier of our conference yet. So therefore, I'm not, it's disappointing, sure, but I'm not mad about us missing the playoffs. However, next year, because and before the season started, I was thinking we were a wild card team, or right there on the cusp of a wild card. I did not expect the 10 wins, but hey, we're there, and we were. That's exactly what we were, was on the cusp of a wild card. I think that with our, and everybody on this call has faith in the direction that our team is going in, and the people that are in charge for the Miami Dolphins. So this year was 10-6. I think next year is going to absolutely be more wins. I'm expecting, an 11-6 or a 12-5. Yeah, that extra game is going to be tough, but we're getting players back that we're missing this year. You get another year under the belt of Tua, and you get another, off season for you get another draft. There's a lot of positive things going into next year to be optimistic about and say, hey, let's build off of this, winning record that finally we have again in Miami.
All right, hey, Jamie and Finsanity, hold up one second, because I have a special guest who's better late than never, right? We all know who he is. We all love him. We all wouldn't be here without him. Is the one and only, the Honorable Solo D's in the building. What's up, Solo?
Yeah, that intro was pressure, man. Not a superstar. I had to check. I know I'm super duper late, but honestly, I think y'all killed us. I don't even need to be on it for real, man. Everybody, I was liking watching y'all, man.
Solo, I saw you in the comments tonight. It looks like you were talking with other people. What is some of the feedback you got about tonight in the panel? And obviously, Finsanity's been killing it.
Yeah, all good feedback. That's why I was saying I really wanted to watch it, man. I was like, I'm learning. Like, I don't want to be in it. But everybody killed it, man. Finsanity was snapping. Everybody, like, you know what I mean? I think everybody meshed well, man. Everybody had valid opinions. And like I said, we all Dolphins fans, so we all want to see, the same thing. We all want to win, man. So however it happens, it has to happen. You know what I mean? But it was interesting, man. I love the way you moderated everything. I love the group you put together. Everything was perfect, man.
Hey, look, man, Solo, we love you. We wouldn't do this without you. Before I get to Jamie and Finsanity, one of the reasons that Miami Sports Music started was the fans, right? And so today we actually have 3 different fan clubs on. We got Southwest Florida fan club, right? From Allie. We got Orlando Dolphin Club. And we got the Dolphin fans of Southern New England. So real quick, I just want to brief. We're going to extend this about 5 or 10 minutes. I'm sorry to keep you guys here, but Allie, real quick, tell me about this year and putting the new fan club together. Where you guys are doing your stuff at, and what do you guys have looking forward for next season?
Yeah, so this year we started Southwest Florida Dolphin Club, we're kind of centered in Naples here on the West Coast, but we pretty much are like anywhere from Tampa down. We've had people coming from all over to come to our watch parties. We've been primarily doing away parties because most of us do go to the home games with, being so close to the stadium. So we've been having boat campers in Naples host us for our watch parties, and we've just had so much fun. We've had so many cool raffles, just great laughs, good eats, lots of drinks and shots always flowing, and we've seen some really, really memorable games. And so we're just having a lot of fun right now, and we're growing, it's just crazy to see how much we've grown. So we started with like a mere 15 members at like our first watch party, and the last one we had somewhere around 50 to 60 members in attendance. So it's kind of crazy that we never had a fan club over here, but we just figured there's no reason why not to, and no better time to start it than now. With COVID going on, we didn't really know how any of this was going to pan out, but we did know that we wanted to somehow make sure we would get together and we could still celebrate and still, see our friends and like you do Dolphin stuff. So we had a great year. So you guys can follow us, SWFL Dolphin Club. We're on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter.
And shout out to Griff and Paris. They help you out. Those 2 guys are pretty awesome.
I have a great
I like
team
the
now,
reaction videos you posted.
Yeah, we had a great video following the Raiders game. So it's just fun to see, how excited everyone was.
All right. Well, Rex, man, tell us about the Orlando fan club and what, went down this season and what do you guys have looking forward for next year?
Oh, yeah, man. The Dolphin Club of Orlando. That's our group on Facebook, Dolphin, DOLFAN Club of Orlando. And this year, like all the years other than this year, because of COVID, we would always do like a jersey raffle, at halftime. We always do like raffles at halftime, jersey and like a women's shirt. We get a pretty good group of people that come out. It's really a homegrown Dolphins fan club inside of a Dolphins bar. And it's really cool. The Hideaway Bar is a dive bar, like Monday through Saturday, and then lights up as a Dolphins fan bar on Dolphins games. And it was just, like I said, it was a homegrown fan base. And, a few years back, we decided to organize it, turn it into something. We've been blessed to have visits by the Honorable Solo D himself. We've been blessed to have visits by the Gorillas and other super fans that have came through, and seen us. This year we had Pedro, the fantastic painter out here. We had Scott Howe from Atlanta. So it's a good group that we have here. And if anybody's ever in the Orlando area, during a Dolphins game, come on out and check us out.
Definitely. Let me pause you real quick. I'm not a super fan, man. I'm just an SHIT talker, man. I just like representing.
Look, we went the whole show without any profanity, and Solo comes in here and does it. Look, see what I got to deal with, guys. See what I got to deal with overtime.
That's because you went to overtime, man.
Hey, real quick, I want to give a shout out to TD Vince Talk. You guys should go over to his channel and check him out. TD, I know you're watching. A lot of people are watching the show tonight because you told them about us tonight. So I want to give a big shout out to you, brother. I appreciate the love. Put all your stuff in the comments so people know where to find you. And we love you over here, man. Collab, man. We need to do some podcasts together, man. Hit me up. All right, Eric, real quick, man. Tell me about the Dolphins of Southern New England and what was going on for you guys this year. I know it was tough because you guys had a lot of issues with lockdowns and everything where you were, but what do you guys have in store for next year?
Yeah, so myself, Dave Fazina started the club probably 5-6 years ago now under the help and direction of Jamie Quadrosi, who we all know and love. Her being from Massachusetts helped us get our club underway. We initially started under the name DolFans of Rhode Island. This past year, neither Dave nor I live in Rhode Island. We both live in Massachusetts, so we agreed, maybe switch the name to Southern New England, which include Maine, New Hampshire, Vermont, Massachusetts, Rhode Island, Connecticut, because our club has fans from all over that come down. We have our bar, Stevie D's, who the owner of the bar has been asking us to come there.
Not me.
No, different Stevie D. And he's a huge Dolphins fan, so this was our first year there. Unfortunately, COVID had different plans. Rhode Island and Massachusetts are, for majority, were open but under a capacity restriction. And now they're just totally locked down. You can do takeout because they are, I think, far. It just doesn't make sense for only a few fans to get there when all of us can't celebrate together. So we're looking forward to 2021 where we'll do our tailgates. We host our own at MetLife Takeover. Along, usually on the side of Nate and Michelle and Dolphins NYC. We host a big tailgate up at the New England game. It's not really possible to do ticket packages for our fans like they do in NYC because, the Patriots were a hot ticket.
Word. I like it. Word.
Dave, currently our group is fundraising for our DCC. Myself, Dave Fazina, and Brad Wine have our team that we're fundraising for. Dave just did a helmet raffle last week. I'm teaming up in the next couple of weeks or so with the great Danny Johnson and the absolutely amazing TPP, which I believe Allie is on.
TPP over here at DW.
Allie is on Team TPP. So we're going to be teaming up, and I'm going to be doing a jersey raffle here. That was a bad fumble.
Hey man, come on now. We're at the end here. You over here watching the game and stuff. We got other people to go to. I'm wrapping you up.
You know what,
here,
though?
man.
I just got to give Eric props for having a good Dolphins fan club right in the Patriots' backyard. I love seeing that.
Dude, that is
big props to that. Eric, somebody asked how you became a fan of New England.
So the year I was born was 1984. The Dolphins may or may not have drafted a halfway decent quarterback that year. So growing up, my father, who is born and raised in Rhode Island, was a Dolphins fan. He's never told me why. And one of the first games I can remember really watching and really enjoying was a Dan Marino game. And up here in New England, the Patriots were so bad that they were never on TV. It was always the big ticket teams, the Dan Marinos, the John Elways, the Joe Montana games that were on TV because of the old blackout restriction. And I rode with the Dolphins ever since. and I've never let up. I love this team. I'd take a bullet for my country, and I'm pretty sure I think I'd take a bullet for the Dolphins.
That's why we love you, man. Hey, look, I would be doing a disservice if I didn't ask Cameron about East 32. For those of you who've never been to a Dolphins home game, one of the best parts about it is not the game, really. It really isn't. It doesn't matter if we get blowed out in the first week against the Ravens, 50-something to whatever, because the tailgate that happens before the game is so up. It's so live. It's amazing. I cannot wait for the pandemic to be over because, and if you've never had the opportunity to go to a tailgate at East 32, you're missing out on life. So Cameron, tell us about, obviously this year was rough. You guys weren't able to do anything, but what do you guys have planned for next year?
Well, number one, thanks for the props, bro. It's my pleasure to put that on, and it's so much fun. One of my favorite things is not only, hosting you all, but looking down that aisle, at East 32 all the way down to East 12, and it's just balling out, up and down, Solo D doing his thing. Everybody, the camaraderie, it's so much fun, and then having visiting fans come, fan clubs coming from San Diego and Las Vegas, Oakland now, or vice versa, and whoever, everyone's welcome. And man, it's just an awesome experience. I don't know what next year is going to handle. I was talking to my ticket agent today for the Dolphins. They're actually removing more parking spots out in the orange lot. So I don't know what's going to happen, but I know we'll be East 32 somewhere on that damn land.
You know what? I knew nobody was going to say it. I knew Cam was going to be too modest to say it himself, but he's also the best chef at Hard Rock Stadium.
It's fun, Rex. It's funny you say that because the first time I met Cameron, this man rolled to Atlanta with an entire pig smoking off the back of his truck, and we had one crazy tailgate in Atlanta that this man cooked day and night for. Solo was there, Allie was there, Steven, I don't remember. You might have been there, but
I think I was.
This food was so good that we spent majority of the time waiting in line for seconds. I think we waited for like an hour and a half for drinks and food just because it was so worth it.
That was bananas, bro. I appreciate that.
Hey, real quick, somebody was asking about, that they lived in Brandon, Tampa, I think is where they said they lived, and they wanted to link up with other fans. One of the things, like I said, that we're doing is on the 30th of January this year, we're going to have a special live event on YouTube only, to launch our new website. One of the things on the website that we're going to have, which I think all of you will love, is we're going to have a map of the United States. And on this map, there's going to be the DWA logo where every home of each fan club across the country is. So you'll be able to take your mouse, put it over the DWA logo for that area, see what fan club is there, and where they do their Sundays, what restaurant they're at, what bar they're at. So I'm really, really excited about this. If you are watching right now and have a fan club and you want to get your fan club on that list, email me at vpmiamisportsmusic@gmail.com. I would love to get all the information for your fan club, but I'm really excited. This is the best part about the show, right? I've met all of you through Solo, but through other fan clubs and having the opportunity. And Rex, I wanted to come down there this year, and I was in your area, and unfortunately I just wasn't able to do it, brother. But look, I'm gonna get down there, man. It is on my bucket list for Dolphins.
We would love to have had you, man. We were looking forward to it.
Look, man, I will make it up to you guys next season, and I'll bring Solo along too. All right. Well, look, the last two people. Obviously, I allowed everybody to say what they thought for next year. I'm going to go with Finsanity first because Finsanity, let's be honest, you are the MVP of the night. You are the star of the night. I'm not trying to, make everybody feel any type of way, but let's be honest. Everybody here has been talking about Finsanity, and we love it because you are now part of the Miami Sports Music family, and you are going to have your own podcast starting in February on Thursday nights, which we are so excited about. So, you can wrap up a little bit, and then we'll go to Jamie, and I'll give Jamie an introduction. Not as good as yours, but I'll give him a little bit of one. And tell us what your thoughts are for next season and everything.
We're gonna how can I say this in a way that resonates with all the fans? We're gonna fix this offense, and I think that's the goal of this offseason. And with fixing this offense, it is going to help this defense out a lot more. You want to talk about why our defense gave up 56 points in the cold? Well, they were on the field, and they're not used to being out in the cold. It's so much harder to breathe out there, so they got tired quicker. So we're going to fix this defense. Fix this offense. And this defense is going to be even more dominant. And let's see. You want a record prediction? If we're going by the roster right now, who we got to play, I'll stay at 10-6. But once we bring these weapons in, we get a competent OC who we all know can go out there and stretch this field. We're going to be looking about 12 wins. I'll give us 2 more. Our offense will definitely be able to put something together, sustain drives. And even if it's, if we can continue to keep teams to around 17 points, 21-17, I'll take that each and every week. 21-17, 12 wins will get us there. As far as winning the AFC East, we have a new giant rising, but I think we're up to the task. This coaching staff, what happened to them, it's not sitting well with them, and I'm pretty sure it's keeping them all up, and they're already ready for the next time we go into Buffalo or Buffalo comes and sees us, and you'll see a different output. That last game does not tell me who my team was this whole season, and you're going to see the one thing about it is where we have holes, they fix it. And we gave Flores the defense he wanted. Now it's time to put this offense together, put the team together, and let's go out there and start winning. Just want to say thank you, Steven. Thank you, Dolfreaky, for giving me this opportunity. Solo D, I'm really appreciative. Jamie, thank you for the back and forth today. I think Rex is on there. I don't know you guys' name. I remember it was like a Steve Carrier or something like that. Everyone who was on here.
Yeah, Steve Carrier. That's it. It's Steve Carrier. That's such a better name than Eric. You're right. That's a better name.
Listen.
Finn Evil just texted me after his conversation earlier. He said I changed my mind. Devontae Smith at 3 is not too early.
You need a route runner.
All right, and last but certainly not, I'm actually going to let Solo go completely last since this is his baby. But Jamie, brother, man, what do you think next year? What do you think of the podcast tonight? What do you think of the future for Miami Sports Music and 305sports.net? The floor is yours for about 2 minutes. Go ahead, brother.
All right, love it. So before I talk to you about the season, let me just lay it down, man. I'm so excited about what Miami Sports Music is going to do this year. I know you hyped up the website. When people see it's going to be fire, and it's going to feature the fans. You guys are going to be featured on that site. It's always going to be something to love. If you loved Finsanity today, I already see this is going to be a long relationship. She's part of the Miami Sports Music family going forward. Look for her and I to go back and forth a little bit more. And sometimes we might not just agree. So I'm looking forward to that too. So it's all excitement. I'm really joyed. But you know what? Now let's talk about what I see for the season. And I saved it till this moment to start spitting facts, right? So I'll give a shout out to Dolfreaky. She was one of the few people that said 10 wins last year, and she was spot on. She was right? But look at this. Dolphins defense. You know what the worst loss they had before that last game against Buffalo? It was the first week of the season, and they lost by how much? 10 points, right? So they were in every game that they lost. Now, when you look at the fact that they were ranked 15th in the league in scoring, and they were ranked in the bottom of the league, 22nd in yards, even if you fix that just a little bit, you really think this defense is not going to come back, if not just as good or even better next year? That accounts for 1 or 2 more wins. So where do I see them finishing? I agree. Buffalo is there. They did what they were supposed to do. The division was there for the taking. They made the right move by getting Diggs, and they're going to be there. Josh Allen has looked like the league MVP against the Dolphins for the past 2 years. Dolphins have not been able to beat Buffalo in 2 years. I think that changes next year. Now, does that mean the Dolphins win the division? I can't say that just yet. I think it's going to come down to us playing them. It's going to be one step closer. So as amount of wins, I'm going to say, it's hard to say, but I'll say Dolphins win about 10 or 11 games again. But as far as winning the division, they're going to be right in there, and it's not going to come down to one game to get in. It's going to be coming down to one game for the win of the division. That's how I see it for next season. Facts.
All right. Well, look, this has been a great and wonderful panel. I've enjoyed this very, very much. Before I wrap up, I want to give the floor to the Honorable, just for his thoughts on maybe next year and what we got going forward for at Miami Sports Music in the future. And also, I guess those DWA shorts are the hottest thing on the market right now. So talk to me a little bit more about that. You're on mute.
Y'all hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you now. So
my bad. The kids is going crazy. I had to put it on mute. So listen, yeah, like I said, thank you to everybody, all the panelists, everybody on the panel for breaking everything down the right way and being logical in your thinking, because I'm definitely not that person. We 16-0 to the Super Bowl. That's how I rock. I don't count losses. I don't care what's going on. You understand what I'm saying? I don't care how it has to happen. It's going to happen like that. So I don't count losses, period. So I'm never the person to ask that question. But I think we're going to do better. Like, honestly, if you break down the season, even Tua, everybody getting on Tua, it was a lot of drop passes. You take that last game, they counted 14 drop passes in that last game, man. Like, and he still had 360 yards. You know what I mean? One of the interceptions wasn't his fault. I don't want to defend him. He's a rookie. He made mistakes, but the point being, it wasn't all his fault. You know what I mean? He's taking a lot of pressure because all the hype he came in with. I probably didn't help it by making a song about him, but it is what it is. He had to take that, you know? So, I think he just showed a lot of rookie errors, but I think he'll grow. And I think he'll be a lot more dangerous with weapons than people actually catching the ball. You go back to that first Buffalo game, we lost by 3 points. Preston Williams dropped a touchdown that game. You know what I mean? So I don't care about the second game. We're not talking about that. But that first game showed a little better. Like, hey, listen, they're not all that much better than us. All right. Now, Josh Allen had time to develop and whatever. So I think we're on that same trajectory. I think we'll be competing with them for the next few years. As far as Miami Sports Music, man, I thank y'all for this. I was just sitting back in amazement. We've been trying to build this for a minute, man. And where it's not just me dropping songs. We're trying to take it to a whole nother level, man. For every sport, y'all know me personally. I put on Miami everything. You know what I mean? Dolphins, Canes, Eric know what's happening. They got spared from a loss yesterday. We're gonna beat the Celtics again. You know what I mean?
We're gonna lose to 2 popcorn vendors and a mailman.
I don't care who was in. I don't care who was in. We were shutting them down. That's how we did in the playoffs. All right, we're Eastern Conference champions until further notice. But anyway, the point is, I just like putting on for my city. I'm from Miami, hometown. I have a unique way of doing it. I like making music. We over 200 songs in all together. And I want to broaden that out. I want to bring more artists in. I want to get different genres of music. I want us to have more fun with it. So I want us to expand. So seeing this is just the beginning, man. Shout out to Jamie. Shout out Ali. Shout out everybody. Shout out Cameron. We got Dirty Sports. That's where we getting our stuff from. You know what I mean? And it's going down. Like, I'm really trying to turn. I don't want to just keep putting DWA on T-shirts. We're turning it into a clothing line. You know what I mean? Like, it's gonna be real year-round, casual business type, whatever you're looking for. So, like I said, and like Steven said, man, it's really all based on fans. Like I said, I'm not a super fan. I'm a fan. I used to punch the walls. I used to punch steering wheels. I used to be mad. I thought I only had 3 homeboys that were Dolphins fans, and I thought it was just us. And social media opened the world up. You know what I mean? When it comes to music, I do think I'm the best rapper ever. So I just use my talent, to put it to represent for the team, man. But end of the day, like, I don't like all the extra special treatment, man. It's like it's us. DWA is everybody, passionate Dolphins fans. It's people all over the world, man. Literally all over the world too, man. Like, I send, you see what I'm saying? He's loud. I send stuff to Africa, South Africa, UK. I just sent shout out to Amsterdam, Switzerland. All the states, California, every game I've been to in Cali, almost half the stadium is Dolphins fans. It's ridiculous. Dolphins NYC, GOAT to the whole fan club thing. So it's crazy, man. It's amazing. We've been watching people grow up. People watch me have kids. Everything like we really built like a family amongst each other, man. And it all came from, everybody bleeding aqua and orange, man. And just represent how they represent. So I'm just glad to be a part of it. You know what I'm saying? Like I said, 305 Dade County. That's where it starts for me. I'm just representing the hometown, and I just want to see where it's gonna grow to. So shout out to everybody.
Well, Solo, I want to thank you personally, because without you, I wouldn't have this platform, brother. And so, this has been fun for me, man. And over the years, getting to do stuff with you, and now watching this thing grow without you, man, I don't know where Dolphin fans would be or have a place to come together.
Like I said, I can't even take the credit. We just rapping, man. So shout out to everybody, man, that participate. Shout out to everybody that ever pushed play on the song. Shout out to everybody that ever bought DWA gear. Whatever, man. Let's just keep representing this. Take it to another level. Most importantly, man.
Hey, Solo.
Right. Yeah.
TD said he got to get on a song with you this season coming up.
Say it one more time.
TD said he got to get on a song with you this year coming up.
We got to get it, man. I love TD energy. I was telling everybody that, man. It is what it is. We're gonna see where your bar game at, but I know he got energy, man. So I love to see how it sounds, man. Nah, let's get it. I've been wanting to get with TD.
Me and Steve want to do a country song.
Oh Lord.
You gonna do it. I write it. I'm telling you, I want to do every genre.
Me and Steve will do a country song in our tank tops.
No, let's get it.
Oh, that's gonna be a #1 hit right there. Don't even worry about it.
I think it will.
All right, look, Jamie, Finsanity, Dolfreaky, Ali, Cam, Eric, and Solo, and also shout out to Rex and Mark and Brad, and the TPP set, Matt, Thin Evil, Danny J.
I got you, Peter. My bad.
We love y'all. You were talking to TD there. Send the track, Solo. That's what he says. So, look, shout out to everybody. And look, this is
Liberty City 305. My bad. I'm sorry. I'm reading the comments now. Shout out to everybody in the comments too, man. Shout out Rule. Shout out everybody, man. I ain't gonna mess the show up, but man, shout out everybody, man.
Hey, Steven.
Yeah.
2 things real quick. So happy birthday to Richmond Webb, former Dolphins great. So if you see him on Facebook, if you see him on Twitter, go give him some love. Let him know we love him. Dolphins family forever. And also a shameless plug for me. I got a new podcast out. It's on all your platforms, Spotify, Apple Music. It's called Talking About Them Dolphins, where all we're doing is talking about them Dolphins. So go check it out. Go subscribe.
Yeah, look, Jamie's got 305sports.net. Go check out 305sports.net. I love you all over there. I'm so glad that we have an opportunity to partner up this year coming up. It's going to be fun. Dolfreaky, I'll just do a little bit of a hint and say, hey, look, that women's DWA clothing line is going to start looking good. So we're pretty excited about that. That's going to be fun. And look, I love you all. Y'all are my family. Y'all are my Finlaws. As the godfather of Finlaws, Mark Angelo says, it's about coming together. It's about loving each other, and that's the best part about this, man. And we bleed aqua and orange, and so I've really enjoyed tonight. Thank you for being on the panel. I've enjoyed this so much, and thank you for allowing me to host it. So if anybody else has anything last to say, I'll let them say it. Otherwise, we're going to get out of here in a minute.
Make sure y'all check out the AFC East panel. It's going to be on TD Fence Talk, I believe, Tuesday or Wednesday. TD's going to kill me for not knowing the day, but we got this AFC East panel where we talk trash to Bills fans, Jets fans, and Patriots fans, and you guys will love it. That's all. Fins up. And it's DWA, and if it's DWA, it's for life. Bye, guys. See y'all.
Y'all have a good one. Hey, make sure you like and subscribe on Miami Sports Music's Facebook and YouTube page. Check it out, msmclothing.com. Get your DWA shorts. And as always, January 30th, Solo's about to put those DWA hats. As always, January 30th, we're going to have a relaunch party for the Miami Sports Music website. So make sure you all check it out. That's going to be a lot of fun. And Finsanity's going to have her podcast starting up in February. So be on the lookout for that. And as always, we love you guys. Spread kindness. Y'all have a good night.
Thank you, Steven.
Hands up.
Hands up.